podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and you're listening to the voice of the people. Let's get ready for Boxing Voice.
Hey, Daddy, this is $1 beat.
BoxingVoice.com.
No matter what nobody say, man. Spirit, can't nobody fuck with me, man. You know, I can't be fucked with, you know.
Dollar DiBiase Productions.
Whether you pay to see me win, or you pay to see me lose, you're gonna pay. Fuck it, your kids still gotta eat. I don't have to watch, you know, any footage of a fighter. I mean, because I'm Floyd Mayweather, everybody gotta watch me. I knew eventually I was gonna have to fight Oscar, but I feel like he was straight up and down, no special effects.
BoxingVoice.com.
How can Canelo have the biggest deal? Your deal is for 300 million, and I made 350 million just in one fight. And you're fighting on the app.
BoxingVoice.com.
I'm a king, okay? I eat a feast. Every time I eat a feast. And when I get up from the table, I don't give a fuck who get the leftovers. At the end of the day, follow my green print.
Dollar DiBiase Productions.
BoxingVoice.com.
Ain't no other sight in the game to see the Boxing Voice.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of the Boxing Voice Radio. If you haven't done so already, hit that thumbs up button as you're just joining the world's greatest boxing podcast. We have a full lineup. Not only do we have news and notes, but we have topics. We have fights to preview and predict, and we have big name guests. At the halfway mark of the hour, we'll have new heavyweight training with Joe Joyce, helping him get ready for Daniel Dubois, Jeremy Milton, American heavyweight, standout amateur, in the camp with Joe Joyce. At 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, we'll have Tolani Minge from South Africa coming off his only defeat to Sebastian Formella from Germany. At 8:30, we'll have your champion, Teofimo Lopez, the IBF 135-pound champion, awaiting to unify with Vasyl Lomachenko. And if that isn't enough, we're going to bring to you breaking news. Deontay Wilder tells Nestor Gibbs of the Boxing Voice that he is indeed looking to accept George Foreman's offer to train him, confirming that the rumor is true to myself. Also, we'll discuss Canelo Alvarez in the rumored, reportedly done deal with Canelo versus Billy Joe Saunders. Plus, we got previews and predictions for Adam Kownacki taking on Robert Helenius, Frank Sanchez taking on Joey Dawejko, and our good friend Efe Ajagba, trained by Ronnie Shields, who we had on the show, taking on Razvan Cojanu. Plus, a hell of other stuff to talk about. Manny Pacquiao picked, or at least given a short list. Gervonta Davis hinting at Santa Cruz pay-per-view. So much to discuss. Stick around. If you haven't hit that thumbs up button, do so. If you haven't shared the show, do that as well, because this is the place to be, and you want other boxing fans to know that this is where they need to be in order to get this thing done the right way. We're going to head on out to my co-host in Corpus Christi, Texas, none other than my good friend, Mario Munguia.
It's me, Mario.
What is up? What is up? Glad to be here. Excuse me, flagship show. Man, so much to talk about. God, I cannot believe the scoop that you got. I mean, forget the fact that you got it. Like, I haven't even thought about that we're breaking it, that you were the one that broke it. But the fact that that's actually true is what I can't believe. So that's major right there. And then, of course, a big weekend of boxing we got to break down. So let's get to it. Let's chop it all up.
Yeah, man, let's take it from the top. Obviously, the hottest topic, I want to believe, is George Foreman. I couldn't wait for TBV. I know I suck. I should have waited, right? I kind of broke this text with Wilder on SiriusXM this afternoon at my 1 o'clock co-hosted slot with Ak. for the Ak and Barack show. It was a great time. I appreciate it. We did record it. I'm just swamped with Border Wars fights, preparation for the show, etc., etc. We will get all the uploading done, and you know, you'll have an opportunity to view it. But yeah, man, the fact that Wilder confirms that it's true, you know, he is. Now, there wasn't much said, right? So I can't say that he's looking to train with him, but he's definitely looking to sit down with him and hear George out on what he wants to do. You know, there was an audio clip floating around that the rumor was they were trying to reach out to George. So I sent it to Wilder, and I'm like, yo, is this true? And he's like, it is. And I'm like, damn, that's amazing. He's like, yeah. So I'm like, wow, okay, that's good news. But the serious crew acted as if, what does he bring to the table? You know? And I mean, George, he's never trained anyone. But we had Buddy McGirt on, right? We had the Shannon Sharp audio. You know, it takes at least a world champion to make a good trainer, even though Derek James and Freddie Roach and others have proved that completely wrong.
Yeah, I don't like the idea at all. I really don't. I want him. I think that Deontay Wilder is more than capable of winning the fight with Fury. Okay. And I've said that before. I don't think he'll win. I'm not going to pick him to win, but he can win. And the reason he can win is because of everything that's happened to this point with JD. Everybody in his camp has got him to this point. You know what? We're going to superstar people now. Like, we're going to bring in Foreman and names to create what? Buzz? I don't even understand this. Like, this just to me makes zero sense. Yeah, the only thing I could think is that, you know, he would still be salty about the towel being thrown in. Like, I just don't get why you would want to change it up. Even if you wanted to bring him in, I would still think that's weird. Like, just to kind of supervise, just to kind of keep, like, eyes on the situation, maybe help out here and there, you know, when they're taking breaks during sparring. Okay, that's a little better. I still don't think it's necessary, but it does create headlines. And if that's what he was looking to accomplish, then I'm sure that'll happen.
I think it's more than that. You know what I mean? Maybe if I were Wilder, I would be looking up to George. I would be nervous to fail in front of him, especially if he's in the gym as a mentor, as a coach. You know, I'm going to be focused on the pivot. I'm going to be making sure I turn over my hand, you know, turn over the right hand. Make sure I'm twisting my wrist, bringing it right back up, rather than all the things that you don't do when you don't have someone over you. And George may, and this is wishful thinking, Mario, wishful thinking at its best, but George may at least tap into that for Wilder, where right now it seems like Breland and Diaz can't get to him. You know, maybe he's more eager at this point. Maybe he's more willing after the loss.
Listen, the only way that George Foreman makes an impact right away is if he convinces Deontay Wilder to take an interim fight. That would be worth it. That would certainly be worth it, and it would be worth every penny you got him to fly out there to tell you that. That's the only thing I could see him bringing into this situation is some old school, like, just listen, you know, sit the guy down and kind of, you know, not play to him or anything like that, not placate him, treat him like a kid, but just to kind of, you know, let him know what the situation looks like from the outside, looking in from a champion's point of view. You know what I mean? Because Foreman's a champion. You have to, Wilder's champion. You have to go into it knowing what you'd get out of it. And at this point, I don't think either of them would understand that, what they would get out of that situation. I don't see what George Foreman gets out of it, because if he wanted to train, why start now with Wilder? Like, that makes zero sense. You know, I just don't see the appeal for either guy.
You don't see the appeal for either guy being George and Wilder?
No, I don't. I just don't. I mean, I guess for Foreman a little more, but Wilder almost 0%. Do I think that? Okay, here's the thing: is he dumping his?
You froze up. Is he dumping what?
Crazy talk. Does he keep his
go
team
back to
and
go
allow
back
Foreman
to
to kind of come in?
Go back to is he dumping? Because we lost you after that.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, the question is he dumping his team and going with Foreman? Which that's the crazy
because
aspect of it. No. I know. I'm just saying in general. Or he brings Foreman in and Foreman helps. That's another option you have. And then here's the third option where Foreman comes and kind of just observes. You know what I mean? Doesn't really talk except for when they go out to dinner or when they're back at the house, like whatever. That's the only option to me I see, being worth anything, because the rest of it, he would be getting in the way. George Foreman would be getting in the way of
I disagree,
people
man.
that have serious business to do.
I disagree. I think that you're looking at it from the wrong standpoint, man. I mean, George brings a lot to the table. Remember, George was this young killing machine, a wrecking ball of a man, knocking everyone out in front of him, known as this big, strong heavyweight that was basically undefeated and could not be stopped. The fear was that Ali was too small, and Ali implemented a new style, changed up the game, allowed Foreman to get tired, and Foreman suffered similar embarrassment to Wilder, where once we thought you were like this, killing machine, someone outsmarted you. And I think that's what George brings. He brings all that darkness, the world turning against you, the depression, the loneliness of the loss. He can help him get out of that dark spot. And then he also brings the fact that, look, he also suffered his first loss. And he also was able to come back and win the world title from after that. So I don't know. I think George brings a lot to the table. He's been in the very same exact scenario. And it looks like we lost Mario. All right. So, yeah, man, those are my thoughts. I think that George brings a lot. He has a lot to offer. The experience factor, being a power puncher in the heavyweight division, facing the slicker, boisterous, better speaker in Muhammad Ali. Sounds like Tyson Fury, right? So I think that they both come from similar places, and it feels like it could be a good matchup. It feels like it could be connecting, or it could connect rather, for them. I don't dislike it. I tell you that. George Foreman is a legend in the sport. And I believe that he's going to add a lot of that publicity. Not as much publicity as a Mayweather would have brought, but I think that George, outside of being in the same exact scenario, losing to a slicker fighter, losing to someone that they didn't think he would lose to, I think he could help Wilder come out of that dark spot. I mean, if anything, emotionally and psychologically, he'll be able to help him cope with the defeat. Secondly, regaining a world title. It's something George did after 40. I think he brings so much. I think that you're underselling him.
Here's why I think it could become a problem in reality. Because the casual fight fan, the casual media is going to paint this narrative that, Wilder is going to get Foreman because Foreman has some magic trick up his sleeve, because at some point in Foreman's career, there was a magic trick pulled up a sleeve on him. But that sounded weird. But you get what I'm trying to say. Everybody's going to talk about, the Ali fight and this one thing you can do that'll fix something. And I feel like people are going to fixate on that, And when I say people, I mean the mainstream sports audience, worldwide. And I don't know. I just think that could do more damage than it could be good. It sounds super corny. It just sounds super, super stupid. I just can't think of a narrative to spin that would be worse than that. That said, again, I do agree that there is a potential to Yeah, there are certain positives about it, but do the negatives outweigh the positives? They really could. I'm not a fortune teller, and I'm not the smartest man alive, but they really could.
Now, I guess before we move on, we have to kind of pitch Mike's angle. He's not here. Again, send your prayers out to Mike. He had surgery yesterday. No one's really heard from him, so hopefully everything's good. He's just recovering in bed rest. But his angle is George doesn't want to train him, just wants to spend some time with him, talk to him. I'm sure Wilder received it as training. That's what we spoke about. But what about this Michael Gross angle from Indiana that George just wants to, because he said, come out, spend 2 to 4 weeks with me. That's not a training camp. So Mike is stuck on that. Like, he only wants to spend time with him. Do you see that angle? And I don't know. What do you do in 2 to 4 weeks with Big George?
I don't think anything useful. I really don't. Nothing useful. Like, for me, the only way I could even envision seeing like this happening on camera is if like the headline under it is like, old former champion visits new champion, like something, super generic. Like, this to me sounds more like a photo op than anything else. It's like, do I think there would be any harm in him spending, a couple weeks with them, a week, 7 days, whatever? No, not at all. And I honestly think maybe he could lighten the mood. Maybe he could give exactly what Wilder needs to just kind of stay, not let the pressures build, not let the moment get him. He could do that.
Mario,
and that would be a huge thing.
You're funny, bro.
Why?
Even I would be on eggshells. Not that I'm anyone compared to Wilder. Plus, I'm not a fighter. But what I'm saying is, with the eyes of George Foreman, the former heavyweight champion, Thriller in Manila, like a legend in your gym, bro, you're gonna be on eggshells. You're gonna run harder. You're gonna spar longer. Like, stop it. Like, why are you lying to yourself? It's a living legend. It's George Foreman. Like, come on, bro. You're joking, man. You're joking. Man. How could a guy that grew up watching him? This is a guy that grew up watching George and Ali, right? His idol is Ali, so how could he not watch George? How could you not have the respect for George?
No, you absolutely have the respect.
And that's what I'm saying. So he's gonna give more because he's gonna be afraid to, I don't know, look bad in front of George, do the move wrong in front of George, give up in front of George, not run enough miles in front of George, forget to jump rope in front of George. Like, I don't get it, bro. You're kidding me.
I don't get you in the sense that you're like, I'm not saying that you said this, but it's like, I envision that Wilder, no matter whether George is standing there, is going to do everything it takes. No, he's never been known as a guy that doesn't work hard. He works extremely hard. I honestly don't think that Foreman would be a big deal to him at all. If he were, a big deal in meeting him, sure. It's an idol to sit down and have dinner, absolutely. Would he be nervous, to spill his tea or that he put the, spoon fork on the wrong side or the salad fork on the wrong side? Like, no, he wouldn't be. Maybe he would, yeah. But he would never be nervous in the ring, I don't think. I don't think that none of that would make him fight better or prepare better or train better. And I don't think that there's anything Foreman can pass on that would help him to defeat Fury specifically, because he already knows how to do it. And it's a question of whether or not he can. And again, I don't think he will.
I don't know, man. Look, don't want to eat up too much of the time on that. We got about 9 minutes before we get Jeremiah Milton, a heavyweight amateur standout here in America and in camp with Joe Joyce in preparation for the Daniel Dubois fight. So we'll be having Jeremiah Milton on the program in just a minute. Time to move our attention to topic numero dos. Canelito Alvarez seems to have finalized his fight with Billy Joe Saunders, according to all the reports. Looking like May 2nd, which ends up being Cinco de Mayo weekend, a weekend that obviously plenty of Mexicans happy to come out and enjoy and partake in the festivities. Mario, your thoughts? Are you happy as a Mexican? Are you happy to see your fellow gladiator Canelo Alvarez get in the ring with Billy Joe, or did you want more?
I wanted this. This is exactly what I wanted. I mean, what I really wanted was Jermall Charlo, but I'm not going to get Jermall Charlo. So in reality, living in reality, this is the fight I wanted. Look, Billy Joe Saunders, and I don't know if this sounds weird. I thought about it the other day, but Billy Joe Saunders is 30 years old, I believe, or he might be 29. He's either 29 or 30, but he's kind of a residual left over from the Daniel Gale era and the oh man, help me out. Who else? Matthew
Martin
Macklin.
Marys.
Yes, exactly. You know, that was that kind of era there where Golovkin kind of launched himself into, you know, and so he was kind of like that residual leftovers from that. He was always a guy who was really good, but in a sense, he never fought like that fight, that defining fight. Yeah, he fought David Lemieux. Yeah, he fought Willie Monroe, Andy Lee. Those are all great fighters. Chris Eubank. Those are all great fighters. And I highly respect Billy Joe, and I think he's ranked accordingly. But he doesn't have that big guy on his list. You know what I mean? And back when they were trying to get those four guys together, the Gales and the Saunders and the Golovkins, he kind of missed out on those opportunities. Whether he planned them or not, whether he wanted them or not, he missed out on them. So this is in a situation where here comes Canelo moving up from that time. That Canelo, he was in 154 at that time is what I'm saying. Now here comes Canelo. He's moved up, and Billy Joe's going to get this fight. I think it's going to be a good one.
It seems like no one's really giving Billy Joe a shot. People seem to think, Canelo doesn't have much to worry about in the punching department, and he should be able to take a few shots and cut the ring off and beat up Billy Joe's body. I kind of had the impression Billy was a better boxer than that. He really made Lemieux look horrible, even though Lemieux's nowhere near the caliber of Canelo. He hangs with Fury. He trains with Fury. He's been with Fury for a long time. He's undefeated like Fury. He's being trained by Fury's old trainer now, Ben Davidson. Any chance he could shock the world like Fury?
Yes, absolutely. 100%. I think he could because Billy Joe Saunders, in my opinion, look, okay, I'll put it this way. I don't ever put Canelo in a class like above fighters. Like, I don't think you do that to the top 10 or top 15 in the pound for pound. You don't ever really like kind of match him accordingly. It never happens. But this is a fight. What Canelo does best is kind of Saunders. I'm not even. It's okay. What I'm trying to say is that's not his kryptonite. You know what I'm saying? Like Canelo can continue to press and press, and the question is going to be whether he gets to Saunders or not. I do believe that if he implements more of the tactics that he has been using at these higher weight classes, not try to put as much pressure, things like that, then it would be an easy night for him. So this is Canelo's fight to lose. I'll put it that way. So do I pick Saunders? Absolutely not. Do I think that the margins are going to be close? No, it's probably going to be something like 90% people picking Canelo to the 10% picking Saunders. That's probably about the worst I see it. And so, and that's the kind of like according numbers for it, the according percentages for it. But it presents a lot of interesting scenarios, specifically for, really, really gritty fighting, hard punches, and both guys throw in bombs at some point. I don't think Billy Joe will be afraid to exchange at points when Canelo's willing to exchange, and that's going to make for a really, really fun fight. And it kind of still puts him on that projection, too, that we talked about yesterday with Saunders, Golovkin, and Marotta. So, that's what I'm happy about, because I really like those three fights. If Marotta gets taken out and put Callum Smith in, I'm better with that. But those are the three fights that they wanted for DAZN. John Skipper apparently had a meeting with him. We talked about that in the show yesterday. And I think that he probably ended up accepting if he's going with Billy Joe.
Yeah, man. I think firefights is exactly what Canelo needs to get Billy into because he shouldn't have any fear for exchanges. And I want to believe he's the better counterpuncher. Obviously, we have to see how the speed matches up between Billy Joe and Canelo. Billy Joe doesn't strike me as a slow guy. He has a very good jab and great boxing IQ. Power's always been the issue, but he's been able to remain undefeated and beat some decent names. Obviously, his resume compared to Canelo's, no need to compare it, but
yeah, not the same.
You know, he's done his thing and he's beat some decent names. Do you think that he's done more than the other two options or three options? Has he done more than Toyota Corolla, Ryota Marotta? Has he done more than Charlo? Has he done more than Andre? Is this justifiable? Is he the better pick, both marketably and resume?
Well, he owns a title, so he was definitely one of the top, picks, for sure. Has he done more than Charlo? That's a really, really biased question. I don't mean biased, but I mean it's a difficult question if you're not going to be biased.
Can't be too difficult for you. You were picking Charlo, so you wanted him to get this fight, so you have to feel a way.
Look, I all I'll say is that Billy Joe Saunders has been in this division longer. He's been acclimated longer, and he's racked up more wins in this division longer. So of course he's going to have faced better opposition. And yeah,
he has technically champ. Technically champ. I guess
what technically.
I guess Mario's a little rusty, y'all. Technically, Billy Joe hasn't faced a better opposition at 68. He fought someone who I can't pronounce the first time, and he just fought some other dude that nobody knows the second time. Like, who's he fought at 68? Remember, he even won the title.
That's true.
He even won a title from a nobody. So, like, I don't know.
I was really considering nothing but his 160 fights. So, yeah, that's a fair point. But, wow, you kind of just fucked up my argument there, didn't you? Kind of left.
Yeah, no, I mean, other than his UK demographic and market, I want to say he's done less than Charlo. Charlo has the win over Austin Trout, which is a big win. Then he has the win over Julian Williams, who was a former unified champ. So that's a big win.
Wait. I just want to preface this real quick because it would sound nuts to somebody who just tuned in. The question is that what has he done lately better, and Charlo's winning? But if you just look at the resume,
lately altogether, does it matter?
Okay. So give me your three guys for Charlo.
Honestly, champ, nobody on Billy Joe's name.
Oh, you know what? You're right. I'm forgetting his 154 time. You're right.
Well, honestly, I have to compare Charlo's 154-pound resume to Billy's 160-pound resume.
Yes,
the truth,
that's a good way to do it.
Truth be told, Billy's 160-pound resume is thicker. Mm-hmm. It's thicker than Charlo's, but I can see an argument for Charlo because he has the more luxurious wins, right? Like his wins are Austin Trout, who beat Miguel Cotto, and then it's Julian Williams, who was a unified champion. Where Billy Joe's biggest wins are, guys that, I guess, former world champion Andy Lee. Was Lemieux ever a real champion? Like, not interim, like real?
Interim. Yeah, interim only.
So, yeah, the only former world champion he beat was Andy Lee, but then he's got secondary wins, which make his resume thick with Eubank Jr., that's a good win early on.
Oh, yeah, that was a good win early
Gary Spike O'Sullivan, good win early on. John Ryder, Willie Monroe Jr. Excuse me?
That win with Gary O'Sullivan ages better, too. It's like, it was from 2013. Like, imagine fighting
it ages better in the sense that he was the one to take his O, but ever since that loss, O'Sullivan's only been getting knocked out. Like, yeah, Lemieux murdered him, and then someone else just murdered him.
Like, it's more impressive when he beat him than if it was like Gary O'Sullivan on his last couple wins. That's all I was trying to say.
Yeah. Go ahead, take over for me. Let me just text the guy here, Jeremiah, to come up on here.
Absolutely. So, you got Billy Joe Saunders, and yeah, okay, if you want to compare him in a very specific way to Charlo, that's a really difficult argument to make. But here you have a champion in Billy Joe Saunders, and I'm always for champions fighting champions, or the best of the world fighting champions. That's what has to happen.
I just see
for
the
Charlo,
argument.
it's a moral victory too, though. You got to understand that for me picking Charlo, it's also a moral victory.
I just see the argument for people. They're going to say, well, what has Billy Joe done? Why'd he get the shot? Why Canelo picked him? He only picked him because he's not a power puncher. He didn't pick him because he deserved it. And honestly, again, his resume is thicker, but I think Charlo's wins are more significant.
Well, he's definitely one of the more softer punchers in that he could have chosen. So that could be a contributing factor. But hey, look, I mean, Billy Joe Saunders has been chased in the middleweight division for so long, and now he's up 168.
Chased by who?
168. Yo, listen, so many people try to lock up. They wanted his title. That's what they wanted. And he's been elusive to guys like Triple G.
Champion.
And
no, negative. He's been trying to sell that title for ages. Come on, man. Remember he signed the deal to go to Kazakhstan, bruh.
That's true.
Come on, man. True. Like he's been trying to get in a fight for a while. I'm not gonna say he's been trying to sell the title. He's been trying to get in the fight for a while. People just know he's difficult. This is why I'm going down the right route that I'm going, because I want to make sure he's gonna get his credit. He being Canelo, right? Because like I said, there's an argument that this isn't the best pick, but then there's that argument that no one wants to fight Billy Joe. No one's signing up. Gennady Golovkin has been in negotiations with Billy Joe how many times, and the fight never come through? You know what I mean? Eubank never really got a rematch, and you seen what Billy Joe done to him. But let me go out to our first guest of the night, heavyweight standout amateur Jeremiah Milton, in camp with Joe Joyce, helping him get ready for Daniel Dubois. I want to thank you, obviously, for taking out the time, coming on the program, talk some boxing with us. Jeremiah, how are you? Sorry about that. All right, now you're unmuted. How are you, champ?
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Perfectly.
Doing well. I had my training session earlier today. We had sparring yesterday, and I'll be sparring again tomorrow.
All right, man. So just talk to us. For those that don't know, Mr. Milton, let us know your story. Why boxing?
Okay, so I'm from Oklahoma. You don't have really like a big boxing crowd out that way, but I've been around boxing for a while. I started watching around the last Olympic run, which was 2016 out there on the amateur scene. And I was watching the guys like the Joe Joyce and all these people, man. It's just funny, like, be touching gloves with them now. I've been fortunate enough to spar with guys like Tony Yoka, Joe Joyce. I've come a long way in my short career with boxing, So I picked this up about 3 years ago, and I just started training myself out of Oklahoma. I was working out of a small gym, kind of teaching classes to kind of make ends meet, and just standing on that edge with paying my bills and just getting everything done. And, man, I dedicated myself to the sport, and I followed so many guys from so many different career paths, different styles, different coaches. I watch a lot of the fighters. I watch a lot of people on the scene. And I just try to surround myself with those people. And then next thing you know, it's like I always pop up, and they're like, hey, who's this kid from Oklahoma? And it's like, oh, wow, we got to keep him around,
So what sports did you play growing up then, if you only started boxing a few years ago?
So I was actually a college football player, but I only started playing football my senior year. And actually, I was a boxer before. I wanted to be a boxer before a ball player. My mom, she didn't like boxing. And then I had an opportunity to get out of my neighborhood with football, and so I started playing my senior year, got a scholarship to play at a Division II school in Oklahoma. Played for about 2 or 3 years, was doing great, but it just wasn't my passion. So I decided to walk away from that and go back into, fighting, which it was going to be MMA at first because I wrestled in high school too. But, after 8 council fights training for MMA, I was like, let me just see what boxing does. And then, like I said, I moved back to Tulsa, which is where I'm from, Tulsa, Oklahoma, which is not big on boxing, period, but it had enough for me to, learn. So I was able to travel to a couple of national tournaments within my first year of fighting, and then I actually won. I've been ranked as high as second in the nation. And I fought my way all the way to Olympic trials, earning silver there, placed silver. And then from there, instead of waiting for that Olympic alternate position or how that mess was going to unfold, I figured, hey, it's time for me to put an actual team behind me. And that's when I got with Mike out here in Vegas, my management company. And it's been good so far. It's really been good.
So you've been able to do all that you've done in the amateurs with just 2 years, right?
Yeah. So it's so crazy. Like, literally, this is me, man. This is how much I really wanted this. When I first qualified for the Olympic trials, I went out to Reno with no coach. I was coach hopping. Like, hey, I recognized some faces from last year. The kid out here in Nevada, Razvan Gonzalez. I became really good friends with him and his dad at Nationals. They invited me out to Vegas, but I never could make it. And so I knew they were going to the second. They were going to go to that Western qualifier. And so I talked to him. I was like, hey, let me go out there with you guys. He was like, yeah, come on out here, man. It was all love. And so, like, they worked with me for the first day, but then he had to leave. So then they passed me off to another coach, and then that coach had to leave. And then, luckily, one of my good friends, Kendrick Rutherford, from Texas, he was still there. And so he actually coached me through the last fight, you know what I'm saying? And so I was just like, man, it's just been so wild just trying to do it, like, literally. When I say I did on my own, I've had some good people step up and help me out along the way, but, it's been a whole bunch of just, like, guesswork, too. And that's what I'm eliminating by moving out here to Vegas soon.
Definitely, man.
Man, how upset would it? I was just thinking while you were saying that, imagine you would have said, you know what, I'm going to make the decision to go to the Olympics again and keep trying to make it. And then the Olympics might even get canceled this year. I mean, that just would have been so devastating, huh?
Oh, yeah. You got a lot of different things that's happening right now. Yeah. I'm 25 years old. I have a son on the way. He'll be here later this month, so I'm actually going home real quick. He'll be here, and then I'll be flying back out to finish my training. I have so many good things on the horizon right now. It's like now it's time to go ahead and make like serious moves for myself, and then get my name out there more so people can realize, okay, who is this kid right here? You know what I'm saying? Because like I'm 1 of 1 in my state. Yeah, I would go from. Like, I would try to go straight to a national tournament without sparring in like 6-7 weeks, because there's nobody out there for me. And that's just one of the things, especially heavyweight, you got to move around. And so when I found myself like traveling and stuff like that, I was finding I had friends in different places. And it's been really cool. I've just been able to like meet so many different people to kind of like, and I think Vegas is my spot.
So 6'4", 230 pounds. We just seen the 6'7", 230-pound Wilder lose to the 273, 6'9" Tyson Fury. Do you feel small for a heavyweight?
I wouldn't be. I have to, tell it to you straight that these heavyweights nowadays, they come in all types of different shapes and sizes, man. But that's the heavyweight division. Skills pay the bills. You got to be able to learn, and you got to be able to have something that's going to give you that edge. Wilder had an edge his entire career with his ability to, eliminate guys. He had an eraser. Nobody ever talked about his weight whenever he was erasing guys, but, you have to be able to make those adjustments, and you have to be able to adapt when you're in there with somebody of that stature. And Fury just used his weight so well. He boxed perfect, and he had a really great night, So, it's a lot different, what I'm saying? Heavyweight landscape is all over the place, but, even with these guys, man, I've been in the ring. I've got some victories over some big guys. I've got a couple amateur losses from a big guy, but, and smaller guys maybe too. But, it's heavyweight boxing, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like for one, like you just got to have that dog. You got to have that confidence, you know what I'm saying? And, people find out like I'm athletic and I'm strong. And when I get in the ring, you know what I'm saying, it's not what they think it's going to be if you're going to do the eye test,
Absolutely. So let's say the year's over. What would be a good estimate with how many fights you think you would have had, like the 2020 is done. How many fights did you have?
Hopefully this year, that's something I got to talk to my team about. But I really want to stay busy. I want to get on the scene. I want to continue being in camps with, world-class, high-caliber athletes such as Joe Joyce and people like that. So I really want to make an impact. If I'm going to come on the scene, I don't do anything to be average, So I'm always around greatness. So I'll have to figure out. But hopefully we can get, maybe 5 or 6, you know what I'm saying? Let's just get busy, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's I'm learning a lot while I'm out here. I'm learning about, what's what and what's to be expected here and what's to be expected there. But one thing you'll know about me come soon is, you ain't never met somebody that's all in, man. I show up and I'm ready to get in.
So, Jeremiah, man, tell me what's the biggest thing you've learned from your transition from the amateurs to the pros? I know you haven't had a pro fight yet, but just like you said, you're hanging with more fighters. What have you picked up? What sort of tips have you been able to kind of soak in on your own?
You know what? It's impressive, Joe Joyce in their camp, just how well that they move, and seeing how I came out here. I was the first spar that he had in I don't know how many months. He was out for 3 or 4 months, no sparring, and then I was coming off pretty much the same thing myself. No work where I'm from, but seeing the different levels he's been able to take it to as he gets closer to his fight, and having to match that with my own performance. It's been great. It's been a great experience. And then also finally got, Justin Gamber, which is my coach, Caleb Plant's coach. He's been really helping me work with setting down on my shots, and, transitioning that amateur style, because I got the heart, I got the dog, I'm a fighter. You got to be able to be a fighter to do boxing, especially if you want to do professional boxing. But now, instead of taking that points or, that approach that I went to the AIBA scoring process in the amateurs, now I'm using, okay, now we're learning the tools to really set guys up and get the most out of our punches.
So, you've been in the camp with Joe Joyce. Break down that fight for us. Let us know how you see Joe Joyce, Danny Dubois going, because that's a huge fight. Really, really important fight for both guys. Daniel Dubois is a hot cat over there right now. He's making a lot of name. He's had some good looks and stuff with his opposition. But I'm going with the pedigree over here. Joe, I've been in the ring with this guy now. You know what I'm saying? I've seen what he's been able to do. I see what he's capable of, and just his transition as a fighter. Watching these guys come out of amateurs to what they're doing now in the program, is so different, and he's been in there with some guys. He got a great resume, Olympian to the fighters that he's fought as far as Brian Jennings and stuff like that. I don't feel like I need to say too much about it because I know what the outcome's going to be. I think that anybody that really, was in the camp and was seeing this and seeing how this man is really progressing would fire and choose on his side too. Would be okay, that's going to be all Joe. But it's going to be a great fight, no doubt. Great fight, no doubt. But I got my money behind Joe.
So, Jeremiah, tell me, I don't know, in this picture on your Instagram with you and Joyce, you seem shorter. Is it the angle? I know he's 6'6". You said you're 6'4". Tell me about, being able to work the jab as the shorter man versus a taller guy with a guy like Joe Joyce. Have you found it difficult? He has the experience, what I'm saying? Like I said, he's been at the highest level. But I'll say this, I'm still in camp, what I'm saying? They keep me around. So they flew me out, they got me out here to take a look to see, okay, so they didn't know who I was either. They just know my resume gets me in the door. My resume gets me in first, and then my boxing skills keep me.
So yeah, there's been some difficulties, and like I said, having to make my adjustments, and okay, because he's probably by far, one of the stronger guys I've actually been in the ring with. They talk about grown man strength. I think he's in his 30s or something like that. But yeah, he's a very physically imposing guy, and he has reach, and he's deceptively skilled with how he does things. So all credit to him. But yeah, I make my adjustments, I find my shots, and yeah, it's been good. It's been nothing but good.
So let's cut to the chase here, man. Is he slow? That's been the knock on him. People watch him fight and they say, man, Joe Joyce is slow. Is that just television, being in the ring? Do you find him deceptively fast?
I tell you what, you got to get in the ring with that man, because when you get in the ring with him, heavyweights, man, it's like walking into a barn. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you see that cow out in the pasture. Yeah, he don't look too big or too fast or something like that. But if you get in that barn, it's a little Oklahoma term, that barn gets small real quick. So, like, you don't have to do a lot to get there to you and to get there and touch you. So, yeah, I'm not going to say that he's, the fastest heavyweight out there, but he definitely can get his shots off.
What do you think?
Yeah, so I gotta be on point.
I'm sorry to interrupt. What do you think you bring to the table? Like, other than your standout amateur record, like, why do you think they chose you to prepare for Dubois? Do you think that there is something you do that mimics Dubois, or is it just the amateur experience that they were seeking?
So me and Dubois, Dubois is an explosive fighter. I explode out, So for me, I set up shots, but I'm fast. I can touch you. I'm a really good boxer. I might not fight exactly like Dubois. I think Dubois is more of a come forward. He might be like 240 or something like that. I don't know, 6'4". But what I've noticed from Dubois is he needs to be set to punch and do all those things. I give Joe a lot of movements, a lot of different boxing looks. That 1 minute I might try to walk Joe down, and next thing you know, I'm on the back foot, I'm taking angles, I'm moving, and just keeping him on his toes too. And so for me, I'm about more. I have really good defense to offense. So I think that's kind of what they like for me. I really never talked to them about they didn't come in and say, hey, we need you to do this or do any of that. You know what I'm saying? They want to keep their guy moving. They want to keep him moving with quality. And so, yeah, they haven't had any complaints.
All right, we got a couple other questions coming from the people. We got Christopher Riley that says, congratulations on your recent signing with Victory Promotions. When will you be your pro debut? Also, who are some of the current pros who you've sparred with? You kind of answered the second part of who you sparred with, but when is your pro debut?
Hopefully, I think we're going to be looking at something in April, possibly. I'm not 100% sure with that. I got to talk to my managers just to confirm, because we've been kind of hot on something right now, but I don't know what he's thinking, if he's going to pull the trigger on that, because I do have my kid on the way. But outside of that, I'm thinking I'll be fighting. You'll see me in the ring, or you'll have an announcement somewhere in April. At least by April, I'll have a for sure date locked down. Secondly, I've been in there probably, let's see, I've been there with Tony Yoka. I've been in there with Joe Joyce now. I've been in there with Greg Corbin. He was closer to the Texas side of me because I'm from Oklahoma, so I just bounced down there. I've been through Dallas a couple times. I've been in there with a couple different fighters. Wes No Fire, he retired. He was from Oklahoma. He fought Gerald Washington.
Yeah, I remember.
I've been around. Yeah, I've been around. You know what I'm saying? King Mo. You know what I'm saying? But I want to travel more. I want to continue to meet some more of these guys. You know what I'm saying? Last time I came out to Vegas, a lot of the guys were gone. So I didn't get to meet up with a lot of these people that I was looking forward to. But now I'm just wherever my manager and wherever my team wants to put me. That's kind of where I'm at.
All right, we got Israel Weber from Oklahoma who says, congrats on and good luck with the pro career. Whenever in Oklahoma, look me up. Lunch on me until you hit it big. Then lunch on you. So just a shout out. We got another one from Ruin of 504 New Orleans who says, after the Joyce camp, what's next in 2020?
Yo, after the Joyce camp, then I'll be focused on my fights, hopefully. So like Joyce, if I can get a fight in April, then this Joyce camp is going to spring me right into my fight. But if I don't get a fight in April, then I'm in the gym. I'm in the gym every day. You're going to see me around with a lot more people that, and you're going to be like, okay, yeah, I know that kid, because anywhere the work is at, he'll be there.
All right, so this next one is from Stone Bone Boxing in Colorado. You've answered it already. Do want to give him a shout-out. He says, we know you're in the Joyce camp, but give us your honest, unbiased breakdown of Joyce versus Dubois, who wins and how. You did say that. So the next one is from Seattle, Washington, Mr. PBC, who says, what's your top 5 music artists that you bump to prepare for a fighter training?
Oh, dang, top 5. I only get 5, man. I'm a big music guy, so like, music, it all depends on what vibe I'm feeling. So I might go through something like, the Gap Band or something like that, old school. If I'm in the gym and I'm trying to work on my rhythm, I'm bouncing to that. Or, I might put on some like, Nas or something like that too, to help me catch a vibe when I'm in the gym and I'm working. And then whenever I'm getting ready to like go into like a fight or preparation, then it's kind of a build up for me. So I might play something a little bit smooth, and then I'll work into something a little bit harder or something like that. But I like Nas. I like old school, like Gap Band. I like let's see. I would say I'm a big Kendrick fan, Jay-Z, Biggie, Pac. Just people, music that's gonna speak to you. I'm a big fan on the music that speaks.
Well, Jeremiah, that is our last question. Want to thank you, obviously, for the time and coming on the program, giving us an update of everything that is Mr. Milton. Do you have a ring name before I let you go? Like, what are we calling you when you get in the ring? Is it Jeremiah the Slayer, the Destroyer, the Conqueror? What are you?
Nah, back home, you know what I'm saying? That's what they call me, the night closer, yeah, because like I usually finish the show. I'm usually the last one to fight, so I'm the last one in the ring. Night closer, night, something along those lines. Yeah, I like Sonny Liston. I found out recently he was a night train, so that's kind of really, it hit me a little bit. That was kind of close. Yeah, I think a lot of his career has been overshadowed by that loss to Ali, yeah, but he was a great fighter.
So listen, man, give me your social media for anybody crazy enough not to be following you can do so. And once again, thank you for the time, brother. We're going to make this a regular thing. Continue to follow your career. Mike's one of our friends over here, man, so we definitely want to stay up to date on everything that you guys are doing and any new people to the team.
Thank you so much. Well, yeah, you can follow me at jmilton19. That's at Instagram. That's jmilton19. And then on my social media, I also have my athletic page, which is Jeremiah the Night Closer Milton on Facebook. And just stay in touch with me, man, because I'm doing great things, and I'm up next. I'm gonna be making my noise in due time. I don't ever disrespect the game. I'm a true student of boxing, and I'm gonna be out here applying this craft and we'll see where it gets me.
Listen, I gotta ask, man, has the name ever given you confidence? I don't know. Were you on like a high school talent show? Did you serenade your girlfriend? I mean, come on, with a name like Jeremiah, did you try to spit some R&B once or twice?
Yo, he came on the scene, man. He came on the scene, and yeah, he gave my name a little bit of clout, but I was the first. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. He might be older than me, but I feel like I was the first. And my name is true to me. You know what I'm saying? So they know, Jeremiah, he about business. So that's good.
Well, all right, man. Jeremiah, once again, thank you for coming on the program. We appreciate it. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Standout amateur Jeremiah Milton, heavyweight. No pro fights yet. 6'4", 230 pounds, sparring with Joe Joyce, getting that experience. Thanking him once again for coming on the program. And shout out to Mike, continuing to sign young up-and-coming talent. 25 years old, Mario. It sounds like he has good, a career, a future.
Yeah, he looks really good. I saw his the press release they sent us, and he's definitely got the look. And he is a big guy. I mean, he's not super tall, but he is extremely muscular. I'd be willing to bet that most of that weight has to be muscle, but it's going to be interesting to see how fast he moves, because this is the money division. He definitely picked the right sport at the right time.
I mean, doesn't have to move fast, though, but I don't doubt that he won't.
No, doesn't have to.
I don't doubt that he won't. With 2 years being able to amass all that he's been able to amass as an amateur, he's already moving fast, but as a 25-year-old heavyweight, he's got plenty of time. You know what I mean? I think Ajagba is around the same age. And look, he's about to fight Razvan Cojanu now. So, he's got to get some experience. He's got to get, his feet wet. And he's definitely got to come up off the headgear to feel the difference, right? Like, once the headgear is off, totally different story. But,
he did it with football, just like that. He learned the sport. He ended up playing, I think, D2 college.
Yes.
And
I was going to say that.
Very impressive.
I was going to say that. I mean, good thing or bad thing, right? Because you got John Fury like, that's what a born fighter is. John Fury all animated. He's like, that's what these balls birth. He's crazy. Yo, John Fury. Yo, did you see the clip of him?
Yeah.
Oh my God! When Tyson Fury knocks down Deontay Wilder, they are recording John Fury in a remote location, and he just grabs on his groin like, "That's what these balls give out." I'm like, okay, yo. He's like, "That's what 15-stone man who isn't afraid does." I'm like, damn. John's got that raspy voice, so it's he's entertaining, man. I got the pleasure to meet him in person in Belfast, and he gave me a fantastic interview.
A clip of that now. Watch, somebody's gonna get dollar to make them a beat with that shit.
Nah, probably, bro. It would be a good soundbite. Believe me. He did well. Listen, we got another guest scheduled. Thulani Minge, welterweight out of South Africa. He was really tearing up the welterweight scene, and then suffered a minor setback with Sebastian Formella out of Germany, who defeated him and captured his IBO title. But it sounds like Thulani is a money fight, and maybe they're going to be going into an immediate rematch. So we're going to be having him on the program in just a few minutes. Now, it will be a South African connection, so I hope everything goes well. Remember the number to call in, 1425-569-5241. Press 1 one-time. Voice your opinion right here on the Voice of the People hotline. Today is Thursday. Previews and predictions. We haven't even gotten to this weekend fights. Adam Kownacki versus Robert Helenius in a 12-round WBA heavyweight eliminator. Plus, we got fights on DAZN. Just so many heavyweight fights. I mean, Robert Alfonso out of the Deontay Wilder camp is fighting. He's going to be taking on Carlos Negron, once defeated by Dominic Brazil. Frank Sanchez, who's training with Eddy Reynoso. So Eddy Reynoso dipping his toes into the heavyweight division, the money division. All of a sudden, it used to be the welterweight division. No more. Listen, I'm actually going to mix things up. I'm going to open up these phone lines and take a caller while I go and get Thulani. I think this might take a little bit longer than normal because it's from South Africa. But let me...
These calls are brought to you by El Camino Electrical Services, experts in electric vehicle charging stations. For consultations and turnkey installation, visit us at elcaminoelectricalservices.com.
Remember to rate us 5 stars on iTunes.
All right. So we got a few callers out there. Remember, if you're just watching this on YouTube, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, as it helps with the visibility of the show. It helps us grow. It helps us continue to get these fantastic guests because numbers are power. And numbers don't lie. Men and women do, but not numbers. So we're going to go out to our alumni caller. Actually, we got some boomerangs on the line, too. So we got to go out to that first. Let me head on out to the 504.
You know how these bitches is in the sport. Total disrespect. Kid has no class, no style at all.
I'm a gorilla, I'm a dog. I'm a dog, I'm a gorilla.
The smartest thing you can do is to stay away from Derek.
It can't be the boogeyman if I'm chasing him. You want to bet on?
You bet 100,000 on that.
Let's bet $1 million.
Easy. Let's bet $1 million.
Yo, what up,
you
man?
there?
Myra.
What up?
Yo, hey, I didn't hear too much of the interview. I don't even know the guy y'all talking about. Great show. Give my boomerangs to my brother.
All right. Well,
Yes, sir.
I definitely got to hit up Thulani because, the calling code, I knew he was going to have an issue. And I asked him, I said, yo, this is how it is? He's like, that's how it is, my brother. And it's not looking like this is how it is. I just got the notification like, nah, wrong. So let me find Thulani. Let me try and just dial it straight like this. Nah, that ain't working. All right, let's see. We're going out to Stone Bone Boxing. Talk to me.
What up? What up? Yeah, man, that was good. I like to hear from the young guys, man, as they on their way up. I like to see where their mindset at. I see he doing some good work. I'm leaning towards Dubois. I still think Joe Joyce too slow. I mean, I know he probably had a slanted view. You know what I mean? If they paying you to come out there, you're gonna have a affinity or a soft spot for him. You know what I mean? And you ain't gonna want to say nothing too disrespectful, just in case he do win, and he might think like, man, he did me some good work, so I'm gonna bring him back. So I'm looking forward to this Thinge Delani interview, man. Nash, you always talk about him. I've been keeping an eye on him. I want to see how he's going to come back from this loss. He needs to get that IBO back. He represents South Africa. That's a South African belt. He shouldn't have. Didn't what's the name test positive too after that? Which one of them failed the drug test?
I don't know, but I don't think it was Sebastian. Definitely not Thulani.
I thought somebody failed some type of test or something they was talking about. I thought it was they said the IBO champ failed the test or something. I don't know, I'm going to have to look that shit up. But all right, man, I'm going to catch y'all later, man. I'm going to be listening.
All right. Well, just sent them a few messages. We'll see what's up. Let's get into topic numero tres. And we're talking Adam Kownacki. Or Kownacki. How is everyone pronounced? Everyone pronounces it differently. We've had him on the show so many times. I'm going to go with Kownacki. Not Kownacki. I mean, maybe, no, because Kov sounds like it would be Russian or something, right? Like Kownacki, right? I don't know. I think it's Kownacki. Kownacki, right? Well, whatever. The point is, I'm picking him to stop Helenius, even though we had Helenius on the show, and Helenius said that, when Washington stopped him, he didn't really have a full training camp and things like that. This has actually been a full 8-week training camp. He had 10 weeks notice, so he's officially, and I'm following him on Instagram. I mean, he's posting every day. A picture doesn't really give us the truth behind 2 to 3 hours in the gym, but at least it's saying that you're there every day. But I'm still picking at him. He maybe didn't look as great as we wanted him to in the Areola fight, but I believe that, his style is trouble for anyone, especially anyone that doesn't have, the solid enough punch to keep him off him. And I know that Adam gets good sparring. He was sparring with Big Baby and Mike Polite once again. So I know he's right. I'm picking Adam. Not much to say, but very excited for this card because it's 4 heavyweight fights. I hope they let us see the Robert Alfonso heavyweight fight on some prelims or something. But this is a triple header that all 3 heavyweight fights should be televised.
Yeah, there's some really good fights. Joey Dawejko's on the card. We're familiar with him. Who else is on the card?
Good back and forth. Right? Good back and forth. Words between Dawejko and Frank Sanchez. Even though Sanchez was using an interpreter, Dawejko really doesn't feel like Sanchez is on his level. And honestly, I don't remember Dawejko ever talking like this. Ever like, yo, I'm going to show you. I've fought dudes way better than you. Like, I've never noticed him to be a talker. Maybe he has some built-up animosity or aggression because, the Murat Garcia fight kept falling through. But I'm interested. Dawejko's a guy that's been in there with so many names. and a guy that's usually been thrown fights on short notice. So this is interesting to see him, having the proper amount of time to prepare. He's coming off of like Ralph Hernandez or something, someone Hernandez win, like Mario Hernandez maybe, and also he's coming off the little rumor clout. The rumor clout always helps, people believing, not believing, the speculation, the added attention. I think that Dawejko's profile slightly raised, not to the level of an Andy Ruiz, obviously, but the buzz surrounding his name on whether or not did he do it, did he not do it, did Joshua really get knocked out in sparring, was it really this guy? How many articles were written on him in the UK alone? So he's got confidence coming into this fight, in my opinion. But Sanchez is the guy that's Cuban, the number one Cuban. Then he's got the big name trainer in Eddy Reynoso. And you got to believe he's the house fighter. It's definitely not Dawejko on a PBC card.
Yeah, no, definitely not on a PBC card. And like I was saying, the rest of the card rounds out pretty well. I actually went to my DVR and saw that the time slot was for 3 hours, but DirecTV sucks, and they do that all the time with live events. They'll say they'll put them at a certain amount of time, like pay-per-views. They used to do it like 8 in the morning. They were scheduled until like 6 or 8 in the morning, something like that. Now they're a little shorter, but so hopefully we get a few fights out of this. That would be awesome. It would be great to see the whole card, but yeah, it's going to be a fun night. Look, this is Adam's night. This is Adam's opportunity. He already knows that he's, in talks for some pretty big fights coming down the pipeline. He's just got to remain looking incredible and remain looking like the blue chipper that he is. I think that when you break down a Robert Helenius on his resume, it might not sound like a lot, but it adds to that. It adds to the Chris Areolas and the Charles Martins of the world. Like it belongs in there. Robert Helenius definitely has some sort of clout in the heavyweight division just because he's been around so long. And even if there's really no way that I could see Robert Helenius beating Adam Kownacki, I do think that he is a worthy enough opponent to kind of gloss up that record.
Yeah, I mean, look, Helenius gave a guy like, I think, White trouble. So you never know, man. And he's at a full training camp. But my guy is Adam. He's been for a while. This is his 11th fight at the Barclays Center. He's becoming a draw for sure. And he's talking greasy. I watched a IFL interview where he said, I think he's ready for Joshua right now. You know what I mean? He's going the WBA route. This is in WBA eliminator. But does that mean that they're the mandatory to the regular Manuel Char taking on Trevor Bryan?
I don't think so.
Because that's what I'm saying. Are they mandatory to the super champion Joshua? Doubt it.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it would have to be, right? Because it's not going to be for Joshua. But I don't know. I can't find that. Yeah, look, these guys have what is it, 1 or 2 people similar fights on their record. I'm trying to remember. But yeah, I just think at this point in Robert Helenius's career at 36 years of age, this is not going to be a moment where he's going to reset the clock. This is going to be Adam Kownacki's chance to kind of catapult into that upper echelon. This isn't what gets him there, but this is kind of what keeps him on that path. These are the really, really necessary fights that you have to have when you get to that point. And if you think about, Wilder career or a Joshua career, or, this is the same kind of stuff they did. They stayed busy. They stayed ready with quality fights until they got that moment.
Well, I mean, at the very least, it's a named opponent. A guy like Gerald Washington took a fight with Wes Snowfire, who's now retired. Jeremiah just let us know. So I'd rather see Helenius than Wes Snowfire or the dude that walked out the ring. You know what I mean? Because I know Helenius is going to fight. Harper left the ring. You know what I mean? So this is a good name on the resume. You know, we could go down heavyweight resumes and see worse names. You know what I mean? Less accomplished names, undersized names in terms of the body and the reach, right? So this is not a bad pick. Now, I spoke to Keith Conley immediately after the Areola Kownacki fight, and you know, I said, man, that was a great fight. All these punches. Obviously, it's not it didn't go the way they wanted. They didn't want to be touched up that much. But I said to him, look, do you guys do it again because it was received so well? He said, no, I don't want my guy in that fight again. You know what I mean? So if he didn't want him in that type of fight again, you got to assume that this Helenius fight, in the eyes of the manager, isn't an Areola fight, meaning there's not much resistance here in the eyes of the team, or am I receiving that wrong?
No, I hear you. I do. I don't think you're receiving it wrong, but I will say that the card rounds out really well. It should be a really interesting night. You want me to tell you what I think the sleeper fight is? Fuck, I had it pulled up and now I don't have it. I think it's Alfonso, Robert Alfonso, and
with Carlos Negron.
Yeah, that's a sleeper fight right there.
And Alfonso is ready. I was in camp with him, man. He looks ready.
Yeah, I saw that.
Cuban style, obviously. Very fast, sharp, and solid right hand. But you know, like all Cubans.
The criticism is the knockouts.
I think the criticism is not letting the hands go, like all Cubans.
Got it.
You know, maybe Sanchez is an anomaly because he's quote-unquote younger, according to his box rec. But they don't let their hands go. They're usually very good at parrying and countering, good defense, but don't let their hands go. So I would like to see him really let go of those shots. It's funny that you even called that a sleeper, man. I hope we get to see it. You know, I know the man personally. It would be good to let him get some television time and finally start to get his shine. He is in the heavyweight division. He'll be a player. If he could get this win. Negron's been in the ring with, Dominic Brazil. So it's an opportunity to make a name for himself. And I asked him that. But, typical bland Cubans, like, no pressure. It's like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, it'll be good because this will be an opportunity to see him in a fight with guys that we've seen before in fights. You know what I mean? So, because I think it's Dominic Brazil, he fought Carlos Negron. Carlos Negron fought Derek Rossi, if I'm not mistaken, as well. And so there's a couple other guys on his resume, if I'm not mistaken. That might be it. I'm looking through his resume right now.
I think the pressure fight is for Efe Ajagba. He suffered a knockdown in his last fight in a guy in Kalides that Hunter beat easily on PBC. He was able to get off the floor and stop Kalides in the 5th round, so suffered adversity and able to conquer that and turn it into a knockout win. But I think that the pressure comes from fighting Razvan Cojanu, period. Cojanu is a common opponent with Dubois, who's facing Joe Joyce, and Dubois did Cojanu better than anybody. He stopped him in 2. Only other dude to do that was Donovan Dennis a bunch of years ago for what I believe was Cojanu's second loss, because he did lose his pro debut. But Donovan Dennis, a victim of Big Baby, stopped Cojanu in 2015. And then, Cojanu went the distance with Joseph Parker, former world champion. And he got stopped in 2 rounds by Luis Ortiz. Nathan Gorman, who Dubois knocked out, took him the distance. Then Dubois knocked him out in 2. So what I mean by pressure is Efe has the pressure to outdo or perform on the level of Dubois, because these two up-and-coming prospect turned contender heavyweights have been pitted at each other for some time now. Obviously, both on separate trajectories. Dubois slightly ahead on all levels, fighting in main events, rankings, and in a big fight with Joe Joyce.
Yeah,
But Efe's name has been linked to his, and now with a common opponent, there's some pressure there. There's some pressure there to perform, in my opinion. You know, I want to outdo. I'm competitive, so if you fought him, I want to fight him and beat him better.
Yo, listen, I couldn't agree more with you. Efe, he didn't do himself any favors in that last fight. Yeah, he came back, and that might be more important than anything. No matter how his stock looks at this point, that type of experience might be better than anything, and it might end up raising his stock much, much more in the future. So, you know, and not to mention it's one hell of a clip to see him do that. But yeah, you know, so fucked up that night he fought, his name. We were there watching it at the house, and I had a few people over that were like pretty much casuals, but like basic sports fans, so they didn't mind watching the fight. And I was like, "Look, this is Efe right here. Oh, this guy, he's got the goods, man. I seen him live, and you know, I seen him train, and he's oh man, he's so good. Let's watch." And yeah, he looked great, man. He came out, he looked sharp. But I'm not even gonna say this because it's gonna sound like a lie. But yeah, I was just like, "Oh yeah, he's good." Blah. And then, you know, the third round happened, and it was kind of like, yeah, you know, but that happens to fighters. It does. It happens. It's not the end of his career by any means, and it's certainly not anything to really gloss over. But now you're back. You want to show people that you can get the job done, and Cojanu is the perfect opponent at this point, in my opinion. You know, they got some similar guys on their resume, and I'm sure that, you know, FA would love to be able to do what the caliber of opponents did to Cojanu. You know what I'm saying? Like being able to take him out, and that would just be a huge knock, and be able to kind of just like get that last fight out of the system.
Yeah, man. I'm interested in this fight. You know, I'm an FA fan. I went to catch him up close and personal. Shout out to Ronnie Shields. Always good to TBV, man. And listen, FA has a lot to offer. I was never expecting the knockdown. But again, he suffered the adversity and showed he could bounce back from that, man. So I'm going to ride with Efe. At this point, I think Razvan Cojanu has nothing left. He's merely a name on the resume, a journeyman, a barometer fight. You know, like I'm using this fight as a test. If he was in there with a Jeremy Milton, then it'll be about testing Milton to see could Milton knock him out. Does Milton have the power to knock out a veteran in Razvan Cojanu? But a guy like a Efe Ajagba, I'm expecting him to knock him out. And that's why I say that there's pressure, because he's got to do it within 2 rounds to make me happy. Not to say that I'm going to jump off the bandwagon. Moving down to Frank Sanchez, trained by Eddy Reynoso. So there's so much interest on my part to see can Reynoso continue to produce performances in every division. He's got Valdez slightly looking better. Valdez is still crazy, but, you know, he's looking better. Obviously, Ryan Garcia seems to be turned around. Canelo is the superstar that he is. So Reynoso, you know, he's got a lot of clout right now. I mean, he's got Frank Sanchez at the weigh-in wearing the Boxing for Life apparel. And I'm telling you, I can smell a Boxing for Life or Boxing is Life promotions, Boxing is Life management. Something is going to come from that. Canelo ain't got knee braces for nothing. You can't fight forever. You know, there's 8 fights left. He's almost out of here. But listen, what does Reynoso bring to the table for Frank Sanchez? You know what I mean? I'm going to say this. What he brings is he's taking the Cuban outside of the Cuban environment. He's putting them with Mexicans who work hard, who are known to come into the ring throwing punches. What's the problem with a Cuban? Something psychologically they have in their mind, that little door that's locked away just because they're Cuban. The key is missing. The door that over the top says, let hands go. So could Eddy Reynoso, by putting him in the environment with Mexicans who do that naturally, unlock that door? That's what we need to see. Frank Sanchez looks good. He's young. He's energetic. I seen his last fight, you know, but he's not refined yet. We'll see what Reynoso can do with him. This is a test, though. Reynoso obviously feels that his time with Sanchez has been good, because Joey's no pushover. Joey's no pushover, okay? He's got draws with good heavyweights. He's just a good heavyweight. You got to be a B plus or better to beat a Joey Dawejko. Like, you just do. Not everyone can beat him. He's tricky, crafty, Philadelphia fighter. Always in someone's camp, always in shape. Doesn't look the part, but is the part. So, interesting that Sanchez and Reynoso chose this as their first fight together. So it's a statement. It's a statement.
It is definitely a statement because you're absolutely right. The big question is what's he going to be able to bring to Frank Sanchez's not just style, not just technique, but just his overall approach. And that's the approach that Cuban fighters have. So to be able to, kind of gift him with some other tools and other traits, and then to test him on a guy like Joey is phenomenal. It's a perfect opponent for him. This is such a good card top to bottom, but what Joey represents is experience. He could take this kid into deeper waters. He's going to be tough all the way through, and it's going to be up to Frank Sanchez to go up there and make something happen.
Yeah, man. Ballsy move by taking the Dawejko fight, man. And Dawejko talking extra greasy, making it more interesting for me. Once again, I just hope that the next fight that we're about to talk about, the Robert Alfonso versus Carlos Negron fight, will be shown. Now, it's not certain whether it's going to be an 8 or a 10. For Alfonso's sake, I hope it's a 10. Slow starter, 8-rounder, recipe for disaster. I'm picking Robert Alfonso because of the pedigree. I've seen him spar numerous heavyweights. I've seen him do pads and be in the gym, without anyone. Like, he's a worker. So I wish him the best.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm definitely picking him as well. Not just because of the pedigree. Well, I'm picking him for all the reasons you said, but also Carlos Negron. We can't forget he's coming off of 2 losses. Both of them stoppages. Yes, both of them stoppages. So, that's another reason that I'm picking him.
Who beat him besides?
Let's see. Carlos Negron. Wasn't
it Dominic Brazil?
KO in the 9th, and Brian Howard KO in the 1st.
Oh my God! Wasn't Brian Howard like his tune-up, and he got knocked out by his tune-up?
Yeah, no. You didn't know.
So even worse, right? So Alfonso really needs to do this. He needs to do this, man. Listen, you don't get these opportunities all the time, man. You got to jump on this for sure. Where's my moderators out, man? Why do we get attacked by the sex bots? I don't get. This is totally new for this year. What's up with this craziness, man? What's next on the docket, brother? It's in the info. It's in the info notes there. I'm over here trying to block sex bots, man. That's why I'm behind. Insane.
That's crazy. When did that start?
Dude, it's been like this month, man. The Wilder Fury brought them out, and they ain't gone away. They just keep coming back. So many, too. It's crazy. I'm telling you, crazy. But yeah, let me go to it. Mario's lost over here, gentlemen.
Yeah, I'm lost.
All right, after Robert Alfonso, we got Zachary Ochoa. Shout out to Zachary, man. I was supposed to schedule him. Shit, he sent me his number. Zachary, Brooklyn fighter, released from his Golden Boy contract, and now on a PBC card. 8-rounder junior welterweight fight. He's taking on Angel Sarinana. Never heard of Sarinana, but. Yeah, Zachary Ochoa, friend of the show, definitely not a participant, but an attendee of our appreciation night. Good fighter. I think he has 1 loss, maybe.
Yeah, he has 1 loss against Ulysses, I think is. Yeah, Ulysses. East Ulysses Jr. He was 12-0. It'll be good for Ochoa to see Ochoa. Hopefully, he is being shown though, right? He is being televised.
Don't know.
Okay, I thought I saw something on Twitter about him, but I could be mistaken. But from the looks of it,
moderators, you can't just delete. You gotta block these bots. They're just gonna come back champions. You're wildin'. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
He did fight Virgil Ortiz. It looks like he got TKO'd by him, but I don't really know much about him. So I'm assuming that this is Zachary Ochoa's fight. This is going to be a showcase of sorts, released from his Golden Boy contract. And it'll be good to see where they can take him. He's a good looking kid, Puerto Rican. He's got a lot of talent and a lot of traits that you look for in a promotable fighter.
Yeah, Zachary's definitely a promotable guy. He's just got to get those wins. He hasn't been able to get an elite level win or something to put him on that path. Maybe because the release from Golden Boy, it got difficult to get fights. Not really sure, but look, man, he's back in action. That's what's important. Activity is your best friend. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. In 3 minutes, we should have the champion in 135 pounds, Teofimo Lopez. I sent him a message 2 hours ago reminding him, and he thanked me for that because he probably had already forgotten. But we should be good with Teofimo. And, yeah, man, if you're a patron, you already got to ask your question. And we will be asking it like we did Jeremiah Milton, the heavyweight. But, yeah, okay, so
let me ask you real quick. Do you think that the layoff that Zachary's coming off of is going to present problems? I mean, it's why he's getting his opponent.
I'm sure. I'm sure, bro. I'm sure. Yeah. You know what I mean?
We're talking 2018, October 2018. So that's a pretty significant layoff.
Sounds like one. Yeah, man. Look, like I said, man, activity is your best friend. It's your best friend. What do we got? Steven Torres versus Alex Ajabor. Ajabor? 4-round heavyweights. Okay. I never heard of neither of these two guys. Who the freak is Steven Torres? I'm about to Google him.
They're both 2-0.
Okay.
And he's got 2 TKOs.
Damn, why they putting 2-0 guys against each other that quick? But what else is up under there, man? I'm trying to figure.
Let's see
who this Steven Torres is. Okay. Puerto Rican? 2-0? Where's he from? Reading, PA? Okay. 2 fights on the Barclays Center. Okay. Oh, so this must be a PBC dude. He's a PBC dude, huh? 2 fights on that Barkley. You don't get into Barkley without having connections. Let's see what else.
Yeah, I think you're right. He is the PBC guy. But we can move on to who else is fighting? Scott Quigg this week.
I'm actually gonna dip in the back and get the champ.
Okay, well then we'll wait to go to Scott Quigg till afterwards, and we'll get it like that. But yeah, overall it's gonna be a great card. Cannot wait. There is an ESPN Plus tomorrow as well. I think that it was forgot to put on. It might have been, but we'll discuss that a little bit, I guess. But definitely the card of the weekend is going to be this Adam Kownacki, at least for me. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm very much looking forward to the Scott Quigg Carroll fight, but no way you can look at the New York card top to bottom and it's just going to be great. I love those kind of cards too, where you can just show up and watch. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were trying to get my attention. But yeah, I love showing up to these cards. And that's the only good ththing about some of these guys who don't get as many fights with PBC or used to. A lot of that's changing. But, you get stat cards like this. And the fact that they don't have these little cards, like these.
I just hope we get some
fights.
sort of YouTube or something
that's what I'm hoping
on some of these rather than, no
Pictures
television at all. Yeah, man. I mean, I'd even take that in some cases because some of these fights don't even get that,
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see. What time is it in he moved to Vegas, right? So it's like 5:30 over there. Hopefully he ain't spawned, man. Boxers. Let's see what we got on the docket while we wait. The text is in, waiting either on the call or the text. I told him to call right into the studio. We got Francis Hogan, never heard of you. 4-round middleweight fight versus Brent Oren. Never heard of them. Yeah, man. I don't know. PBC really stacked this one up. Sean Garcia takes on Omar Castillo in a 6-round fight. Arnold Gonzalez versus the TBA. And we have our champion on the line. So we're going to go ahead and put that to a halt and head on over to the 135-pound IBF champion, Teofimo Lopez of Honduras. How are you, my friend? Thank you for coming on the program. Thank you for taking out the time to be on the show. We truly appreciate your time. How are you, man?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. Like a champ. Like a champ.
So just how does it feel to, I guess, do what you prophesied so many years ago? I obviously follow you on Instagram, and I noticed that you posted a picture many, many years ago with the IBF belt, and now you are the IBF champion. So just like, what's that feeling like?
Just the fact it's good, that you attract it. You work hard for it, and then you end up, it ends up being yours. You know what I mean? And it's something that you devoted your whole life to. Hello?
Yeah, no, we hear you perfectly, man. So I'm going to introduce you to my co-host.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Go ahead. I didn't know you weren't done.
Oh no, it's just I'm just leaving home right now, but no, yeah, you know what I mean. It's something that you definitely you want to be thankful for, and you take that you take it as if you really work hard towards your dreams, you can make them reality. So that's what happens, and that's what it's a blessing on blessings on that.
Hey, how you doing, Teofimo? This is Mario Munguia. I've seen all the coverage, of course. I've heard you answer a lot of questions, but I just want to talk to you for a second because, I just kind of want to get straight from the horse's mouth. Heading into this fight with Comey, nobody expected it to go this way. I mean, not very few people expected it to go this way. How confident were you that you could make it an early night? I mean, that couldn't have been the plan. Obviously, you planned to go the distance, you trained to go the distance, but how confident were you that you were going to be able to go and do what you did?
Very confident. I just had a point to prove to everyone, and to myself that, those 17 years going on to 18 years, devoting my whole life into it, that this was the moment to seize it. I had to seize that moment and just pretty much prove to myself, all the hard work is done. We've done it all, and now it's by one shot an opportunity to, and to win the world title. And that was it, and I was confident within myself. I knew that God wouldn't make me, he wouldn't put me in situations that I know that he knows that I can't handle, and that's what always keeps me going and keeps my confidence level so high. You know what I mean? People think that I'm cocky or whatever sorts, but it's just that I have a lot of faith in God, and I believe that every obstacle that I have or every fight that I have, I believe that he knows that I'm ready for it, and that's what I believe on. Yeah.
So, Teofimo, man, we got some questions from the people. I'm going to refrain from asking you anything personally, and I'll just ask all the people's questions, and Mario will conduct the normal kind of interview. We're going out to Bo in Alabama that says, are you interested in a boxing game coming out on either Xbox or PlayStation? If you were approached by the creator, would you be willing to allow them to add you to the game?
Absolutely, without a doubt. Heck yeah, I would love to play me in a video game. What do you mean? I mean, that's something that obviously has been thrown out there, and about fight night or something coming out again, boxing, and I would love that. Honestly, I would love that. I would actually be like, I feel like that's when you make it, when you actually are in the game, and people could actually play you. That'd be dope.
Hey, real quick, Teofimo, before I ask my question, how familiar are you with those games? With Champions and all those games? Did you play them growing up?
Oh yeah, hell yeah, absolutely. I used to play all of them, man. Shit was so fun.
Which was your favorite?
I I used to play because you had Fight Night round 1, 2, 3, 4. I think mine, honestly, mine were. I was in between 2 and 3, but I think I would go for Fight Night round 3 maybe. Yeah, I was playing that a lot.
That had a really good.
And but I don't know what happened. I don't know why they stopped it, man. It kind of sucks. But I'm really, really hopeful that they actually bring it back, man. It'll be so cool, man. Honestly, especially now with technology and how they do in gaming, it's gonna be different.
Yeah. Well, if they did the game and you weren't on the lightweight division, you'd be that game would be very, very not representative of that division. So we're gonna get straight into Lomachenko talk. Any sort of, I guess, leeway you can give us? Anything that's any kind of ground that's been made towards Lomachenko in that fight?
Man, it's stressful, man. It's annoying and it's frustrating because of the fact that it's still not official. It's still not official, and even though I'm putting it out there that those are the dates, which it is, May 30th. Madison Square Garden and all that, but the contracts haven't been signed on either end, and it sucks, man. It's like I'm waiting for it and all. I'm waiting for the opportunity. Like, hey, let's go. Let's get this rolling. Like my camp officially starts the end of March. Like, and we still haven't done anything with the paperwork or anything. It's annoying. Sorry for my language, but the whole process, man, it's a handful, man, and it's all because of the pay-per-view, man. They're trying to make this fight pay-per-view, and I get it. But that's the reason why it's on delay, because they're trying to find the right numbers for everything, and see how much they're gonna pay Loma and how much they're gonna pay me, along with it. So it's just things like that, and that's where we're at right now. We're just pretty much going back and forth on everything, negotiating, percentage and everything, just going back and forth.
So, to be clear, the location isn't an issue, because I did see an interview with Lomachenko where he was saying that he's not sure about New York City because he feels like the New York City Latinos have adapted you as one of their own.
He said that?
Yeah, it's a video. It's on his YouTube channel, and it has captions and everything, where he's in front of a bunch of sports cars.
Well, I think he's right though.
About what about it being
them
in New
adopting
York?
About them adopting you. I think that it would be a Lopez crowd that night.
Yeah, I mean, look, Puerto Ricans
I'm
will
not
come out
saying
for
that
No shit. But no shit. He needs me in order to sell out of the fucking arena. No shit. In order for this man to sell out a whole arena, he needs me. Plain and simple. I don't care what anybody says. And all I just need him because the credentials they put on him makes it a big fight. But other than that, he couldn't sell a fight even if his life depended on it. So it's up to me, honestly, to fucking sorry for my language, man.
Nah,
it's up to me to honestly to promote that fight. It's up to me and to Top Rank and to ESPN to promote this fight, because he can't. His job is just, honestly, he just does his job, which is just train, get ready for a fight, try to look impressive, and then get the win and go on about his day. You got to promote the fight, though. You got to go out there and go out your way. But I feel like, man, something's telling me that this man don't want to fight, man. Since you just told me that, he don't want to fight. Holy shit.
Now this interview is old though. This interview's already he's done this already maybe 2 months ago already. This has been out. It's on his YouTube channel.
But they're still on it, man. They still on it. The Eagles, his manager is still on it. Like, they don't kind of like the whole thing with the whole New York. They want it in Vegas or some shit. Like, they still on that. But it's gonna happen in New York. There's no other way or better way to have it than in New York. And they need to understand that. But I just feel like, man, they're just trying to make this difficult, and that's why we're on this delay. On top of this, on top of the pay-per-views, and on top of he's trying to get more money than what he's worth, and it's complicated. But these are things that I'm not allowed to say. These are it's confidential, and honestly, the fight hopefully will be made, and then we could finally, get ready.
Well, let me ask you about his character. Devin Haney and Bill Haney like to say that Lomachenko ducked them, that he chose to accept franchise status. Carl Moretti asked for franchise status at the WBC convention in Mexico, and Lomachenko accepted it, making Haney a champion rather than facing the champion. What do you feel about that situation?
I feel like the whole franchise and everything like that, that's the body sanction, and that's just how they're going to be. And, they make their own rules, you know what I mean? But going to, like, Devin Haney and all that, they got to say that, and it may look like it, but the thing was they didn't want Top Rank doesn't want Loma to fight Devin. They don't care about Devin. They just didn't want it because Devin doesn't have a belt, doesn't have anything to provide him. And on top of that, he ain't on the same team, meaning on the same stable. He's not with the same promoter. So Top Rank just saw that they could get it's more money and everything, and they save more if it's converted just between Loma and Lopez. You know what I mean? And the fact that if they was to let the fight go without being franchised, he would have to. That was his next mandatory. He would have to fight Devin Haney. And I don't think they wanted that. And it's not because of, Devin could beat him and they were scared. It's just more about the negotiation side of business where they're just trying to make this fight. What would you rather see, honestly? What would you rather see? A fight with Lopez and Loma or a fight with Devin Haney and Loma? Both fights are exciting, yes. But which one has the more appeal? Which one has more of a chance to knock out Loma? Which one has more of a chance of doing those things? And that's why it came to those terms. But maybe he did. I really don't. For me, I don't care. All I know is that I'm going for my shot. You know what I mean? I already won, and I became world champion. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And nobody would doubt. Nobody doubts. And nobody argues that that's not the 1 and 2 in the division. So it's a huge money fight, one of the biggest fights that could be made in all of the sport. But let's just, role play here for a second and let's assume that you don't get it. Do you have any real contingencies? Because here's the thing. I can see you taking a victory lap. I know a lot of fight fans don't like that, but after the fight that you had, I could see you taking a victory lap, something
Absolutely.
in between. Something you've earned that. But what contingency plan would make you would fulfill you if you can't land Lomachenko?
The thing is, I'll be very upset because I don't want that. I don't want no victory lap. I don't want something that people already expect me to win. I want something that people think that I'm going to lose, like they thought with Coleman. They thought it was a 50-50 fight and everything. Don't get me wrong. He's a world champion. It should be like that. I like challenges. That's always how I've been. I love challenges. I love to challenge myself. You know what I mean? And that was so if this fight was to fall through and not happen, shit, I haven't even thought about that, honestly, because I'm focused on this fight, and I don't want to think of the negatives of it. But it's a win-win for me in the sense of he don't take the fight, people know that he was scared or he seen something that I've been trying to tell people, or you know what I mean, and the other part is we fight, I win, looks good on me. So it's man, I don't know who else I could put on at 135. I know you got Gervonta Davis, who can't even make 135, and he went up. You got Devin Haney, but Devin Haney's planning to move up to 140 because he's too scared to fight fucking guys that have a pulse. And then Ryan Garcia is just he's actually now finding somebody that actually has a pulse, and that's Jorge Leonares. I think if he beats Leonares, then I'll take my hat off to him and be like, all right, he can fight. And then who else you got? And you got Loma, but Loma is planning to either go down or not fight me or fight me. Hopefully he fight me. I will move up to 140 eventually. But I would like to defend my title at least once. Just gotta see who'll be worth fighting. You know what I mean? To make it that exciting, because you gotta have a good.
No, go ahead.
You gotta have good fights. My thing is I'm gonna go after fights that make sense, that make the crowds want to see it. It's a crowd pleasing fight, and the fans win. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, we win. Oh my God, I was just like, you said 140, and all that happened was, my brain did a thing of all the fights that would be so amazing with you. From Jose Ramirez, Josh Taylor. It would be so many fights.
Nah, you got at least 2 more years at 135 though. We got to.
Nah, hell no, I don't. Hell no.
You got 4.
Hell no. I'm
you
leaving 135.
You got at least 3 fights.
I'm
champ.
leaving 135. But nah, listen, I've been at 135 for about 7 years now. Throughout my amateur career and everything, and I'm filling in. I understand, like, I get it, but my thing is, man, I'm a big 135 pounder, and the thing is, like, I need to go up to 140, man. Eventually, it's gonna go because my body's growing, my bones are getting bigger, whatever you want to call it. But that's the thing, man. I'm 22. I'm still filling in. I'm not even fully developed as a man yet. Like, I'm not. What, we stopped growing at 25 or something like that? That's what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure by the end of my career, I'll be fighting at 154 max.
Wow. That would be
damn, champ. I just don't see a guy like Gervonta Davis really trying to go to 140 anytime soon. So the way I see it, right, is if you beat Lomachenko, that's it. You're a pay-per-view star. So now the guys like Haney and Gervonta, they do want to fight you because you represent money. But are they going to want to fight you at 140, though?
Who cares?
Tank is too small. Tank. I know Devin will. Devin's planning to move up to 140, and then he pulled out that bitch move with his whole shoulder and everything that he needed surgery because he wanted to avoid his mandatory. Like, people don't get it though, man. Like, these guys really try to avoid shit, man. It's sad, man. I went out there and I took the most powerful hitter at 135 during that time. That people were like, oh shoot. Hey, this guy could punch, though. He could crack. Like, I go after challenges. I go after dudes that people are scared to go after. Like, that's my thing. That's my intentions. I'm a go-getter.
But
I don't know if that's just like that New York, but I ain't. The thing is, like, I ain't no bitch. I ain't no bitch. Like, if
no,
that's the Vegas service. He dropped. He dropped off. He dropped off.
Hot.
Listen, and I'm waiting for the opportunity to jump in and be like, but wait a minute, wasn't there an eliminator? Because Devin loved talking about that eliminator that Teofimo pulled out of to go to IBF route. It was getting steamy. If you enjoying that interview, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. I'm pretty sure the champ is going to call us back, but it is that Las Vegas service, man. He's out there driving, so... drive safely, champ, and give us a call back.
Yo, I'm sorry, but I don't give a shit about Haney or Davis compared to Jose Ramirez. Yo, listen, Jose Ramirez, Teofimo Lopez, that's a bag, bro. That's a bag. That's like 2 bags for both of them. That's a bag. Like, it's amazing.
I just really like Haney, Teofimo, Gervonta, Haney, Gervonta, like that mixture. And then whenever Ryan is ready, throw Ryan in there. Damn, is the champ going to call back? I'm almost like waiting to just see is he going to call right back. Did his battery die? Boo. What time is it? 49? So we had him on for like 19 minutes on it.
Listen, I'll tell you that while you still try to get him, listen, I don't know if Davis is going to fight him. That's the problem. And there are so many cross-promotional issues.
Nah, but that's what I'm saying.
We'd be waiting forever. We'd be waiting forever.
No, that door, that's what I'm saying. Boxing is about doors. That door flings open. It busts off the hinges if Teofimo wins. Of course, because now the fight makes financial sense. And Top Rank has a clear A side. There's nothing to argue about. Floyd Mayweather can't say nothing besides, yes, let's do it. Because you're giving my guy an opportunity on pay-per-view, plus you're giving my guy an opportunity at Unified Champion. Like, it's over. It's over. Right now, look, Haney's dying to fight, allegedly dying to fight Loma. So it's about... Man, I didn't even know he's only 22. God damn. That means,
he's only
bro, we got like 12 more years of him left then. Sheesh.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep. He's been on the radar too.
Damn,
for
I think
a
that's it.
few
I think he said, "Yo, I'm a champ. Y'all only get 19. I'm gone." Or it's either that or the battery died, man.
I'll tell you this though. Here's the thing. Of course I'd love to see Teofimo fight Gervonta Davis. Of course, like I'm not brain dead, but I will say that I wouldn't wait that long. If he goes and beats Lomachenko and then they didn't secure that fight in like 4 to 6 weeks and let those dudes, secure that fight. And that's the thing. Like I wouldn't even want him to fight Comey, Lomachenko, and Gervonta Davis back to back to back. So like I could see him moving up to 140 because you know what I'm saying? Like at that point, you kind of just like, hey, let's take our, foot off the gas here and then work your way up to 140, work your way through the division, get acclimated to the weight. And then you got a plethora of guys there.
Bro, 22 years old, 15 fights. Number 16 is going to be Teofimo Lopez. If he wins, Jesus, what a story he is writing.
Mm-hmm. And he's a star, and he's got a whole people behind him.
He's got the right promoter behind him for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
For this type of situation.
They're going to have him in Madison Square Garden with Edgar Berlanga on the undercard.
Every June.
And it'll be Puerto Rican Day Parade Festival in that motherfucker, even though he's Honduran. Because he's Honduran. He's from Central America.
I know. That's crazy.
But New York City's all over him like they, like he's Puerto Rican or Dominican. They on him. So that's what's up for him, man. Shout out to him.
From the Lomachenko video, they adopted him and shit. I mean, not even adopted
I can't believe he didn't see that. See, I got his number now, so I'm going to start, because I be texting some of these fighters, bro. I be staring the pop, be like, bro, you seen this? You know what I mean? Like, bro, did you see this? My man talking about, like, I'm shocked that no one showed him that video. If anybody listens to this show, I talked about that video months ago, and I even showed it. I screen shared it and paused it so they couldn't flag us. Because he had the captions on it. Like, he's sitting in front of a bunch of Fast and the Furious cars, and my man is shitting bricks. He's literally saying, like, who's this Teofimo guy? Who's this Teofimo? Everybody talking, Teofimo. And then, as the interview gets deeper and deeper, it's like, well, the interviewer is like, are you afraid that the crowd? And he's like, yeah, you can see they adapted him, You can see the Comey fight. They like him, so that might be a problem, I'm like, uh-oh. But, all right, let's finish up this PBC card. The last fight is Khalid Twaiti. 4-round fight. I could have sworn, man, that is strange. I got to Google this guy. No way I could just move on. I feel like I just read about him or something with this name, Khalid Twaiti. I'm probably killing him. I'm the butcher of names anyway. Yes. Did he fight in New York City? Yes, he did. That's so funny. I just seen this dude on Broadway Boxing. Shout out to you.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. I record all the Broadway boxings, but I get them like a year late. Can you believe that? So whatever Lou did last year, I'm fucking watching this year. You know what I mean?
You know what? It was like that in my area when he first started.
Because I got it on Sports Network. It's called like SYN.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, you got the SYN?
Yeah, I got that too.
So that's what it is. It's so corny. It's not up to date, but I did see this guy fight, but he's just a prospect. I guess they're bringing him in for that New York City area tickets. Just a prospect.
Gotta be.
All right, let's see what else we got. What's left to talk about? Manchester, England, the DAZN card, March 7th, Scott Quigg versus Jonah Carl. Good scrap. And this is part of another conversation that we're supposed to be having later. Deep in our notes is the sub-conversation of the 5 best fights in March. And honestly, Scott Quigg versus Jonah Carl is one of those 5 best fights.
It's definitely one of them.
Quigg, I think he still has a lot to offer, and this is the fight to show it. Shout out to Eddie for making him the A-side. I know Jonah Carl's coming off the Tevin Farmer loss, but, I don't know. When's the last time Quigg's been even in the ring? Last I remember is Valdez beating him up. Anyone else fought him after that?
After Valdez, he fought Mario Briones at 130. And, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was at 130. Yeah, 130. And that was in October 2018. Wow, why is so many people haven't fought since October of 2018? And he scored a TKO win in the second round in that fight.
Dude, so you're coming off of a 2-year layoff, and Eddie still makes you the fucking main event. So where's Jonah Carr from? He's not from the UK? Is he from Australia? Oh, he's from Dublin. He's from Dublin. He's Ireland.
Yeah, he's from Ireland. Yeah.
All right. Well, Jonah Carr's also he's coming off a win. He got a win over Venezuela.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't even know that happened.
And I didn't think he looked terrible against Tevin
Oh,
Farmer.
shit. He went to Mexico for that. He got his own win in. He went to Mexico and did that one.
Nice. When was that, you said?
It says 2019, August 24th.
August 24th? Okay.
He slid that in right after the Farmer loss.
Yeah, must have. So that's good for him. You know, maybe hopefully that'll help him be, I think, much. I was gonna say competitive. What I meant to say, that's gonna give him advantage in this fight for sure.
He's also coming into this fight off the Tevin Farmer camp. Now I know maybe people are like, oh well, Tevin Farmer, he lost to Joseph Diaz. What could Jonah Carl, really gain? But I think it's the entire element. A guy from Dublin, Ireland, never trained in America before, never trained in the East Coast with that type of Philadelphia environment, hanging with Tevin Farmer. I think that he got a lot, and he got to see a lot of different looks, those East Coast looks. I'm expecting him to do well. Quigg coming off a 2-year layoff. Damn, I might be picking Jonah, but Jonah got zero pop. Like, he had a draw with Guame Francois or whatever my man's name is.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Now, I'm going to ride with Scott Quigg on this one. I just think that he has the experience coming into the fight. I think he's been in more situations that'll help him throughout this fight. And to be honest with you, I think it's definitely it's his fight to win. He's got to go out there and he's got to make something happen. I think it's a really solid fight, like you said. I think, what'd you say, the best fights in March? 5 best fights. It's definitely one of them. So, Scott Quigg coming back, trying to rebuild after that Oscar Valdez fight. Jonah Carroll's definitely an opponent to kind of start off with and work your way, kind of up the hill. And it's good that it's happened in Manchester. It's good that we're going to get it on ESPN Plus, be able to see the whole card. That's why I love ESPN Plus, because you get to see the whole card. And I can't wait for this one.
Yes, sir, man. So it's over for T.O., man. Fuck it. 19 minutes is a lot with a champ. Shout out to T.O., man. Unfortunately, Dulani didn't give us the right information, man. And I sent it back to him via picture. He's like, yeah, that's it, my brother. It did not happen. But we got to get through this DAZN card before we can open up these phone lines back up. We did get through the sponsors, so stay in line. Don't lose your spot. Honestly, the DAZN card is pretty shit. I heard of Zach Parker. I think I didn't hear about him. We actually watched him fight. He's not the greatest. He's fighting Rohan Murdoch. Never heard of him. Huey Fury's back. He's taking on Pavlev Sauer. And Sauer's just a tune-up. We've seen him lose to others. Fury trying to get back in the mix.
I kept calling it the ESPN card. I meant to say DAZN. My bad. The whole time I was saying
I get you, man. It feels like an ESPN card because there's no names. Shout out for the main event. Other than that, it's like everybody's tuning up. Everybody's just tuning up, really.
Yeah, but it's still a good main event. We'll get it early, get to see it during the day. Should be good.
Yeah, man. So we just seen Pavel Sauer, Jermaine Franklin be Sauer on Showbox, and that's why he's fresh in our minds. So, Jermaine took him 10. Let's see if Huey could at least knock him out, which I doubt. Anthony Fowler back in action, taking on someone, I don't know, Theophis Tete? Eddie and Warren. They can find you some names, Rashad Mati back from Brooklyn. Shout out to Rashad Mati. He's going to be taking on Abdullah Luhwana in a 6-round welterweight fight. So he's moving up, moved from 4 to 6s. All right, let's do it, Rashad. Dalton Smith taking on Benson. I'm not going to try to pronounce that. Jack. Who are these people? Have you heard of these guys?
I have not. I was trying to find the last time we
Jack
saw Anthony
Cullen.
Fowler in the ring, but I'm looking at this card and I don't recognize the rest of the names.
Blaine Highland, Bradley Real. Who are these people? I'm going to have to be, look, my motto. Watch them when you got to watch them. And, I'll see. Nothing jumping out. And this is why I like to do backstory, you know what I mean? At least Mr. Sauer is going to make me watch him because he fought Franklin. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. We're going to news and notes. We got better news and notes than we do DAZN fights. Tyson Fury doubles down on the idea of retiring after just 2 more fights. He's still with the retirement. And now his father also said it too. Like, that's it. You've done all you're going to do. Retire. Yeah. His father wants him to just hang it up. I don't understand why you would hang it up without getting that all out, British dust up. But, cause come on, yes, he's considered number 1, but can you really retire without fighting Joshua?
No, he can't, and he won't, and that's not what he's talking about. He's saying, of course, that he'll get him within the next 2 years. He's very confident. I'm very confident it happens this year, to be honest with you. I think by this time, 2021, we'll be waiting for the next batch of Marvel movies, and we'll all know for a fact that Tyson Fury is the number 1 heavyweight in the world. That said, look, I don't really mind it. In
the world of the UK.
Yeah, okay. Well, if he beats Wilder and Joshua, he's definitely number 1. That's what I'm saying. By this time next year, we'll know that he is number 1, and we'll be super excited for Doctor Strange, too. So I think that, you got to look at, you know what?
I'm actually excited for the new Wonder Woman. That shit looks real fire.
That shit looks dope. But look, you got to look at it. Tyson Fury, he's got the wrestling thing, and even though as a wrestling fan he's garbage in there, it's still fun to kind of watch him, and he'll go and he'll make his WrestleMania moments happen, and he's got a bright future ahead of him. He's so charismatic, he's so charisma, and with everything we've learned about CTE, it's a smart move. You know what I mean? Beat the best in the world, and then what do you got to do?
All right, so let's open up with this topic number 4. I kind of forgot about this. Manny coming out catfishing. That's what I'm calling it. He's catfishing. Manny, and I mean Manny Pacquiao, the Pac-Man. I did my best. But my best wasn't good enough. He says his options are Mikey Garcia, Terrence Crawford, Earl Spence. Do you think that is the order?
Say it one more time.
That Pacquiao says maybe Mikey.
The order.
Maybe Mikey, Terrence, Earl. Mikey, Terrence, Earl. Mikey, Terrence, Earl.
Terrence, Earl. The only reason why I could see Terrence in front of Earl is because Earl's not ready. Because Earl's still banged up. Because he's going to need a little more time to get real sparring, like dog sparring. And that could be the only reason I could see him. But yeah, that sounds right to me. I don't think he is trolling. Mikey is the perfect fight for him. It's not what I prefer in that batch. I'd much rather see him fight Bud, but Mikey's the perfect fight because it presents so many. It presents an allure. So many people miss the best version of Pacquiao Ness. When he was at featherweight, listen, we all knew who Pacquiao was for so long before he really stepped into the spotlight and then fought De La Hoya. But people forget before that, he had an amazing career. He was the best fighter in the world at that time. Looking back and reminiscing, and obviously Floyd Mayweather was there. He was definitely pound for pound, but one of the most exciting fighters for sure. You got to give it to him. And so this fight with Mikey Garcia kind of gives you those vibes, you know what I'm saying? Like those vibes. It'd definitely be a really good fight. I don't think that Mikey Garcia could stand the power, so I definitely would favor Pacquiao in that fight. And I think he'd get the stoppage at some point because Mikey's got to go. If Mikey fights that fight and finds himself in trouble, he's got to go out in his shield. It has to happen. With what we saw in the Earl Spence fight, this is his chance to show that he can do what marketable fighters do when they're in trouble, and that's make something fun, make it exciting, get a win out of a loss. And you can do that in a Pacquiao fight for Mikey. So it's big business all around. I know people don't like Mikey at 147, but you got to remember, it is the money division, maybe, not the king money division, but it is a money division, and that's where he wants to go. And you got to respect that. This is a fight. This is a prize fighting game. Emphasis on the prize.
Let me ask you, as a Mexican, what do you prefer? What's the bigger fight party for you? Terrence Crawford, Manny Pacquiao, or Mikey Garcia, Manny Pacquiao?
Mikey Garcia, easy. And I might catch heat for that, but as a Mexican, there's no way that you don't catch those vibes still. I can't tell you, some of the best fight parties I've ever had were in high school with Pacquiao, and girls that had no idea who these guys were and just loving every second of it. Guys that had, really no knowledge of boxing thanking me. Oh man, I'm so glad you invited me. Like, those were the fight parties that I miss. I honestly, truly believe that it's a better promotion financially, but obviously from a hardcore standpoint, I'd much rather see Crawford. And it's a big fight, and I definitely think that I'd have a bunch of casuals over, but I can promise you that a Mikey Garcia Pacquiao fight, I would have at least 25 deep in my house. I would be pretty sure of that.
So, who do you think he picks?
I think he picks Mikey. I do. I think that that's the safe bet at this point. I think that
is it because you think it's safe, or do you think the Saudi money is what's gonna entice him to pick Mikey?
Well, it's definitely both, but it's not just the Saudi money. The Saudi money is like the foundation of the banana split. You know what I'm saying? And all those toppings that add up that make it such a financially lucrative fight. That's the best business. Look, it's not a big puncher for Pacquiao, and at this age, that really does count. It's not a guy that's going to have him moving all around the ring. This is going to be a pretty composed fight for the majority of it. This isn't a guy who's going to, even if he tries to put pressure on Pacquiao, which I don't see happening, but that could be it could be an approach of theirs. Man, he's not going to have to, be on his shield. He's not going to have to worry about being out-muscled or, it's a perfect fight for Manny, and it's the fight that Mikey probably wants the most because it launches him into a stratosphere where now he has more bargaining chips with the likes of Garcia, Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman, the rest of the fights that he's going to round out, at 147. And look, here's one thing that we don't consider. Mikey beats Pacquiao. It makes him a huge star, being that he's, Mexican and starting to really get a really great fan appeal, specifically in Texas and always in California. And so the kid's got a lot of things to be positive about, and a win would certainly launch him into a much bigger stratosphere.
Yeah, man. I think that there's a reason PBC hasn't announced anything, but that's also because I love speculation. It's better for the podcast. We had Tim Smith on the show. He seemed to insinuate that people use the media to manipulate the narrative because they don't have a grip on things. So that translates to me like you don't have a fight with Manny. Manny still has paper with Al and fights that he can offer, Pacquiao. The issue becomes, can Al replicate an offer that Saudi Arabia is offering Pacquiao to fight Mikey? Because, Al deals with both of them, but he doesn't bring the site fee. Or does that matter because he's an advisor? He don't have to bring the site fee.
I don't think it does matter. I think at this point he's getting what he's going to get in the fact that it's not technically in-house money. I think you cleared that up pretty well. But him being at least at the forefront at a certain point in that promotion, or to a certain regard in that promotion, is specifically in the negotiation aspect of it, I think that's more than fine to wet his whistle and get his approval like the Godfather that he is, and then they'll go and make that fight. And so, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Well, let's see what other news and notes we got before we open up the wave. This is interesting. I guess a quick mention. This will be fast. This isn't the interesting one. Quick mention: Jamal James back in action. We were talking with someone about Thomas Delorme. He's got to fight. He's facing Jamal James, and guess what? A vacant interim belt.
I like that fight.
Yeah, I don't know what belt they're gonna be fighting for. Like, come on, man. Crazy. Jamal James, didn't he lose to DeMarco?
Yeah, it's boxing, man. You know, they hand out a trinket every few weeks. But it's still a good fight.
Bro, it's the WBA, man. Yep, WBA interim, and that's what it is. You see, I don't get that though. Isn't I'm going to these rankings because I thought the WBA already had an interim champion.
No.
Oh,
No,
they got a
did not.
regular. They got a regular.
Yeah,
and
they
super.
got a regular.
Regular and a super. Regular and a super. Man, it's
Yeah,
the
I was sure
WBA. They're really ruining things with all those belts, man. It's too,
They are.
They just have
Bad.
too many. That sanctioning body in particular has way too many.
Way
Just
too many.
Just too many. Let me see. We're talking what? What division is that we're talking?
You were talking about Jamal James, Thomas Delorme
Yes,
for the
147.
interim belt.
147.
147. Yeah.
So, and this is what I'm saying. How is Urgas not the interim champion? Like, how's Jamal James, number 5, become the interim champion or fight for the interim belt before a guy like Danny Urgas?
I don't know, man. Can't answer that. But it's been going on for way too long.
And then that's the thing, you know. Then this guy gets this belt, and it's like, yo, do we call him a champion? Who am I to say he's not a champion when the TV's announcing him as a champ? The announcer's announcing him as a champ. He's got to do. Listen, he's got to do a mandatory. Brandon Figueroa is the regular champ. He's got to do a mandatory. I don't even understand how this regular stuff works, man. These guys need to smarten up, but that was a quick news and note. Sergey Kovalev back. We were talking about this morning or the other day with Buddy McGurden. He acted coy as if he didn't know that, Kovalev was going to be facing Sullivan Barrera. Well, it is official, and DAZN will be airing Kovalev's next fight, just like the rumors indicated that Kovalev has a 2-fight deal after losing to Canelo. So Kovalev's next fight will be against Sullivan Barrera on DAZN next month. He's back in action. Dillian White also back in action, set to defend his interim heavyweight title versus Alexander Povetkin on May 2nd. And they're labeling this one the Battle of the Left Hooks, maximum violence. I like the fight. Obviously, I would have loved Ortiz to get the shot, but Povetkin is a good fight. And, I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it's a great fight. I really like it. You know, we broke it down earlier this week. And, going back, though, real quick to the Sergey Kovalev, I really don't think he knew. I don't think Buddy knew, honestly, because the way he made it sound was like, first of all, he admitted that he doesn't watch tape.
Bruh.
And then he said
he's
that
fighting
Sergey
next
would
month.
tell him,
How you gonna be preparing for 4 weeks?
Maybe I just want to like live in a world where he didn't just like, he could have given us that breaking news and he didn't choose not to. He couldn't.
I mean, listen, I guess there's a world that exists where he doesn't know, man. It doesn't matter too much. Anthony Joshua confirms that he will be defending his titles against IBF challenger Kubrat Pulev in June. Another subject that we spoke about in depth throughout the week. Wanted to bring it back up on our weekly roundup. Just for anyone that doesn't know, Joshua's fight is official with Pulev, and it's taking place in June. I think June 20th is the date, maybe. But yeah, I'm going to say good fight. I'm not just going to say it's a mandatory. It's a good fight. Pulev is a top 10 contender. And, if they made Pulev Big Baby, I'd be happy. Pulev Brazil, I'd be watching. So, look, AJ's got to handle his mandatory, and it's a decent heavyweight scrap.
Yeah, I don't think you can be mad because at this point we know, and I'm not going to say we know. I believe it. Some people might not, and there's always a question, but I truly believe that they were doing everything in their power to get Joshua Fury done. I think that had Wilder not intervene in that and execute his rematch clause for the trilogy, I think we'd be looking at Joshua Fury. I really do, and I think that we'd probably be maybe a week before they would announce it had Wilder officially passed. But because he tried to make that fight, I think that you can't be upset at this one, because what you know is that he's going to be going after Fury or Wilder, and that's just the truth. What do you want me? Nah, man, I ain't got no freestyle to kick.
Sorry about that. I have no clue where the movie was playing at. But yeah, apologies, man. I interrupted you.
All good, all good. I was just saying, you can't be mad at this fight with everything that they did to secure the Fury fight and the belief that they're going to do everything to secure it again with the winner of Wilder Fury. So Pulev is just a bump in that road. He'll take care of him with ease.
So I guess the bombshell headline is Malignaggi says Wilder tried to get him fired from Showtime job.
Yeah, man, I read this article.
I read it too.
What'd you think?
Wow,
indeed.
Like even Farhood?
I know. This is interesting. This is really interesting.
But this is obviously, according to Malignaggi, no one's confirmed this with Wilder. But wow.
Yeah, no, definitely. And Malignaggi had talked about, or in the interview, Keith Idec, who his story is from the story that we're getting from is from Boxing Scene by Keith Idec. Shout out to Keith. He, he talked with Malignaggi.
Yeah, Keith comes on the show regularly, man. He's cool.
Yeah, man, he's an amazing dude. Listen, he, Malignaggi talked about, the first loss and how hard it was for him to accept it. So he knows where Wilder is. So he, he kind of empathized with him a little bit. But
crazy that his first loss was to Cotto, right?
I know. Definitely. That was I remember it. And it's funny because I remember the fight so well, where I was, who I saw it with, and I just couldn't remember that was his first loss. But yeah, he had mentioned it on the Ak and Barak show. He's co-hosting this week, or he's been co-hosting this week, and let that little nugget out. I don't know until Wilder comments on it. Obviously it's nothing more than just a juicy rumor. But it would be really interesting to find this out because, and here's the other thing. What people have to understand, this stuff happens all the time. People try to superstar all the time. You know what I mean? From like the making people change the poster at the last minute and T-shirt stuff and where's my, stuff going to be at, to sell and all that stuff. They superstar all the time. So it wouldn't be super surprising, but at the same time, it is kind of fucked up. If it's true, again.
If it's true, because obviously, I guess if you're Wilder, you're entitled to feel that way too, right? Because it's like you're trying to take food out of Malignaggi's mouth, and Malignaggi is trying to take food out of your mouth, in a sense, by giving you the loss. I don't know. I really can't put myself in that situation, especially without knowing both sides of the story, but definitely worth bringing up as a headline and note on today's show. Also, the other big rumor is that all signs are pointing towards a summer fight between Gervonta Davis and Leo Santa Cruz. Gervonta himself has been dropping little hints of Mexican versus American flags and saying, the summer and pay-per-view and things like that. Again, it seems like I'm using you for your race, but as a Mexican, are you happy with Leo Santa Cruz and Gervonta Davis possibility of a fight? Like, is that a fight party in your area?
Nah, not a big one. Leo's never been super important in South Texas. He doesn't mean as much here as he does in the West Coast. That said, though, it's a big fight for both of them for two different reasons.
Have they fought him in Texas that you know of? Like,
say that again?
have they fought Leo Santa Cruz in Texas that you know of?
I don't think so. I'm almost positive he hasn't. And that would be for a very specific reason that he hasn't. Let me see. When did Golden Boy? No, I don't think he has. I'm almost positive of it. Let me just look real quick, I guess. But yeah, I don't think it's a huge fight in that kind of sense. But look, these guys, they need each other to be on that kind of platform, because these are the big type of fights that build you into the A side. You know what I mean? And Gervonta Davis, he needs this head on his. He needs this scalp on his resume. He needs it bad, and he needs to look really good, in my opinion. I think enough is enough with Gervonta. Not everything is his fault. Obviously, he tried to get Mades before, and we know what happened. But at this point, yeah, man, I think this fight's bigger for Davis. And in all honesty, I could see him becoming a bigger fan with the Mexican crowd winning this fight than you would think. You know what I mean? Like, I could see people kind of rocking with him, and maybe not in the sense where they're huge fans of his, but he becomes like a must-see. So if he has a really good performance, this could be the exact thing that he needs to kind of get over that hump, because people love him so much, and love him and love to hate him. They love talking about him so much. I mean, he's been super high on trending, countless times in the last 4, 5, 6 months. So and not all for great things, obviously, but he's an appeal. There's something appealing about him. He's got this look, he's got this swagger, he's got this demeanor, and it can translate into big marketable dollars, but he needs a guy like Santa Cruz to not just beat, but look very impressive against.
Yeah, and he's also the only fighter not to suffer from the Drake curse. Unless you count missing weight occasionally part of the curse. Everyone else who's taking pictures with Drake has lost.
Yeah. Yep.
But, yeah, I mean, I think that's where his appeal comes from, though. Hanging with the Drakes and the Floyds, have put you on that level. He's got a couple million subs on IG. Just for facts, it did look like Leo Santa Cruz had one fight in San Antonio versus Cesar Seda. So, yeah. But
I remember that fight, too. I just didn't remember it being in San Antonio.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, man, this is the rumor. All signs pointing to Gervonta Davis, Leo Santa Cruz. So you could give us your takes on that. Also, I wanted to mention the 5 best fights of March on 2020 boxing schedule. This is an article from Bad Left Hook. These aren't necessarily my top 5 of this month, but I felt like, hey, he went ahead and did the work. Why not use the information? Number 5, Shakur Stevens versus Malignaggi. I mean, I guess.
That's a solid fight.
If we're only looking for the best in 1 month, absolutely, he's a world champion. Why not watch it? Plus, Malignaggi is a common opponent with Lomachenko, so you get to see how great Shakur Stevenson is. Archer Betterby versus Mei Long Fang Long. For you guys, it might be For me, I am excited. Fei Long is from my gym. I just watched him spar last week or 2 weeks ago. So, you know what I mean? His trainer saved me when I was getting my ass kicked by like a 60-fight amateur, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm interested in Better Beef. I know Better Beef, met him personally. I know his trainer, Mark Ramsey, know him personally. So, yeah, this fight, I'm interested. But you guys might be like, Fei Long, who the hell is that? This Chinese dude's going to get his butt whooped. Maybe true. But remember, Better Beef has a soft chin. And we talked about Saturday's main event, Scott Quigg, Jonah Carl. That's another, top 5 fight of March, You could have easily put Adam Kownacki in there, but versus Helenius. You could have easily put Fran Sanchez in there versus Joey Dawejko as one of the top 5 fights of this month.
Those are bubble fights to me.
Then you got David Avanese and Josh Kelly. That's high level. Or something like it.
A lot.
And then you got Meredith British versus Doctitos, March 21st on DAZN. I'm sorry, I didn't give you the dates, right? So Stevenson versus Malignaggi is on ESPN Top Rank Fight March 14th. That's next week. Archer Betterby versus Meng Fang Long March 28th, ESPN. David Avanese and Josh Kelly, March 28th, DAZN. Scott Quigg, Jonah Carl, this Saturday, March 7th, DAZN. And Maridis Britis versus Yonel Dokchitos, March 21st, DAZN. So DAZN with what? 3 out of 5. And ESPN with the other 2.
Yep.
So that is everything. And we went to our sponsor, so we're going to get back out to these phone lines. Let's see who's who and what's left. Any boomerangs here? Who we got? All right, we went to J-Mac, who's the boomerang. We got the alumni status in the building. And Boomerang in Detroit.
Motherfucker murder, mayhem, last words of the stainless. Told you I would kill you, squeeze after I aim it. If you're talking money, then you're speaking my language. Or shut the fuck up and grown folks' conversation.
Yo, TBV, what's good, man?
Stainless, what up?
Yo, man, it's Thursday, flagship night. Somehow I ended up off work today, and I'm smoking on that green crack weed, you know what I'm saying? So I'm good, bro. How y'all doing?
Can't complain other than missing Mike, man. My man ain't even answering back.
Yeah, man, that's sad to hear, man. I hope you're all right, you know what I'm saying? I don't know when that surgery was supposed to happen, but I'm sure he got a lot going on, too. So, you know what I'm saying? Shouts out to him anyway. Shouts out to UK Mario for holding it down while Mike away. What up, Mario? You good?
Mario.
This is all good. I was lighting up anyway. Yeah, man, it's a good weekend of heavyweight fights, man. I'm excited to see what's gonna go on in that. I would only make picks in those first 2 fights though, the Kownacki and Efe Ajagba. I'd have to go for both of them. I think Efe will probably be in a tougher fight. Although I can't. Yes, Josh, I said I'm smoking green crack. It's a strain of weed, bro. Yeah. But I think Efe probably has the tougher fight. Robert Helenius, I mean, he's probably a little bit more known than Efe's guy, but I think Efe's, got the tougher fight. Then coming off that knockdown in his previous fight, you know what I'm saying? I can't wait just to see what he's gonna do. So those are the only picks I'm making for this weekend. And as I always say, please make sure you push that thumbs up. Share this in every episode of the Boxing Voice podcast, because this is TBV for life. And if you ain't on Patreon, it's because you're stupid. And shout out to El Camino. Ness, man, I done spent the whole week catching up on your shows, man. Man, you always got so much content, and I do appreciate the first little bits of the border war shit that you done gave me, but I'm gonna need some more, my dude. Come on with it. Peace.
For sure. Let me see here. I don't think I put this in the calendar. I need to put this in the calendar. We're having Raul Chino Rivas tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Raul Chino Rivas tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. on the morning show, and that is the trainer of Tevin Farmer and the trainer of Steven Ortiz, who's going to be taking on Damian Allen Jr. March 27th on that Impact Network card. If you don't have Impact Network, you could check it out on ImpactTV.com. You could also download their free app. You don't need any service. You don't need any cable to watch it on their .com or their app. But if you have cable, you should already have it anyway. And yeah, I'm just giving you this cool information because I'm a boxing fan. I get absolutely no kickback from Impact Network. All right? Not to say I don't want one. You know what I mean? All right, so let's see who we going to. Looking like our ringer Josh in North Carolina. What up?
What up, man?
What's going on, champ?
Nah, shit. Hey, man, that was a good-ass interview with Tiafimo. It was getting steamy. Hey, Ness, man, you got to tell them Las Vegas people get their service together. Damn,
it's
bro.
The mountains. It's the mountains, man. That shit suck out there.
Yeah, I figure it was the mountains. I'm only picked them 2 fights, and of course I'm gonna go with Kownacki and Efe Ajagba. Hey man, I was wanna hey man, I had it was on my mind. It was just on my mind. Yeah man, what you think? What you think Dillian White next move like gonna be after this Alexander Povetkin? Because I'm pretty sure he gonna win, but I know he gonna get like a little, what you call it, another little run over. But man, I think he's just trying to wait out his time until he fights Fury for the mandatory. And then on that Tank Davis, Leo Santa Cruz, I don't know, they shouldn't be putting that on pay-per-view in my opinion. I don't think it's gonna be doing that much good numbers, but I guess they're trying to cash out already. I don't know. But hey man, I'm always loving the content, man. I can't wait for tomorrow's show. Make sure y'all listeners like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, TVV.
Josh, man, thanks for calling in. North Carolina, stand up. Let's see what we got here. Looking like we got Ringer in Chicago in the building. Ringer in Chicago. Steve, talk to me.
Yeah, hey, what's up, Nuss? Yeah, there's not much going on. Helenius, he should be easy work for Kownacki. That should be an easy win for him. Knockout, probably goes 6 rounds at the most. Ajagba, he's in a more competitive fight, but I think he'll win. And to be honest with you, I'm not really interested in that DAZN card. I'm not even going to pick on that. But yeah, man, I want to get back to what you guys were saying.
Man, you got to at least watch the main event. I mean, Scott Quigg, Jonah Carl's a decent fight.
Yeah, I'll probably watch that. Because I got DAZN. I'll probably watch it. But I'm just not interested in it. But I'll watch it. But hey, as far as this Foreman thing with Wilder, I'm kind of with Mario on that. I don't really know. The only aspect I can see is from a mental state. But as far as like getting in and actually training him to do, I don't get it. Like I'm with Mario on that. I don't see what. I think Wilder already has what it takes to beat Fury. But I'm with you. Like you don't turn a guy like that down if he wants to come. Like you welcome that. I'm with you on that. But yeah, I mean that's really all I got. There's not much going on.
Well, definitely pay attention to the PBC card. There's going to be a lot of heavyweights on that undercard. You got, once again, Robert Alfonso taking on Carlos Negron, Fran Sanchez taking on Joey Dawejko. Then you got on the undercard Efe Ajagba taking on Razvan Cojanu. And you got heavyweight Adam Kownacki taking on Robert Helenius. So definitely some decent scraps, at least to get you by your weekend.
It's cool because DAZN's got the better main event, but Fox has the better card overall. So it's pretty cool. Little Saturday.
Yeah, man. Can't complain. Listen, good fights make everything right. Let me see where we going. Pro boxer, Marlon So Icy, what it do?
Hey, I'm just listening today.
All right. Let me get out to Jesse in Richmond, Virginia.
Richmond, back on the line. Can you guys believe it again? Well, I'm in casual mode, so I won't be catching many fights this weekend, but I just want to comment on a few things real quick. Let's just call it Jesse from Richmond's headlines, if you will. Oh, my goodness, Errol Spence Jr. Oh, my goodness, he's looking a bit fat and lethargic. I don't know what it is, but his whole disposition, his demeanor just looks a bit different. I know we had a little bit of a snafu with the recent accident, but there's something in his posture, his belly. He's just carrying a little bit too much weight. I don't know if we'll see him around again. Now, maybe he's able to cut the weight, but I just don't know. 147 is looking kind of shaky. Oh, which leads me to my next point. Mr. TC, can't wait to see him back in there again. The switch stance king. Who can stop him? I don't know. Now, let's move on. Mikey, why do we keep crapping on Mikey, Mr. 40-1 multiple division world champion? Can we give Mikey a shot? Let's keep it moving. Canelo and BJS. That's what I wanted to say. Oh, Cinnamon Mexicano is going to do it again. He's going to make BJS look terrible. What can BJS do? He has great head movement. He has speed. He's decent. Yeah, but he can't stop Canelo from cutting off the ring. The counter punching will be superior. It's a wrap. Dillian White. Oh, he slides past Povetkin. I'm liking Mr. Wilder for that. After Fury puts him back on the canvas. And finally, Mr. Tiafimo, the uncrowned king of 135, 140. Oh.
Okay, so that's how he ended it?
What's that guy's name?
Riddler.
No. Yeah, I knew his name.
I thought you was gonna ask who this guy reminds you of or sounds like. Jesse reminds me of the Riddler.
No, he reminds me of you know who Nordwall is?
The rat guy?
Yeah, the guy that interviews all the rappers. Is that what his name is? Nordwall? No, that's not his name.
You're talking about the Schmo or something like that.
No. It's something like Nord. I forgot. He's kind of like he's like a white dude that he has like funky glasses and funky hair, and he goes and he does really great interviews with hip hop artists. Man, somebody help me with that.
I thought it was the Schmo or something like that. I think I seen him before.
But you know what I'm talking about, right?
Maybe if we talking about the same person, that's the biggest issue. Let me see where we going. We're going to gonna go back out to what looks like New Orleans 504.
So interesting that you come across like a nice guy, but you're really a piece of shit. Hey, with that comment. Come on. That was a piece of fuck you. That was a piece of shit. You know, we're doing live TV. Man, I don't care. What you gonna do about it?
I'll kill this mother. Why do you have to talk like that? Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you. You have a problem? Turn off your station. I'm the best ever.
Yeah, what's up, Ness? What's up,
Mario?
What up? What's up? Yeah. What up? Yeah. Shout out to Mike. I've been ignoring giving him a shout out and stuff like that since he been in the hospital. But I don't really got too many talks for these up and coming fights. None of them not really catching my eye, especially not that Canelo versus Billy Joe Saunders fight, you know. But it's I would be rooting for Billy Joe to pull that fight off, but I highly doubt he beat him. Anything else we talking about?
George Foreman.
Yeah. Oh, that's the main topic. I think I think that's a good look for Deontay Wilder. Maybe he could teach. He's a puncher as well. Maybe he could teach Wilder how to deliver his punches a little better. So I think that might be a good look, but I still think he still need one more training to get in there and teach him some good balance, some good foot movement, be more fluent with his legs, and fight like the smaller man in this fight. Don't fight like the big man in this next fight. So but I think that's a good look for him. Teaching him mentally, and just be physically as well. Though George Foreman will be a good trainer for him, I think. I mean, that's all I got on it.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Well, JT, thanks for calling in. Let's see who's up next. Looking like Caesar Las Vegas. What up? Caesar going once, twice. All right.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we got you.
All right. My bad, man. I'm at school, so I'm trying to hurry up and grab the phone. But yeah, man. So about the title, I think George Foreman could teach Wilder a little something. But man, I just really, really like the idea of Buddy McGirt training Wilder. Man, that'd be shit. That's the best option that I could think of. And shit, since Wilder listens to the show, maybe he'll consider it. You know what I'm saying? But on to this weekend's fights, man. Kownacki had a great, good war with fucking Areola. But this fight should make him look pretty good. After a tough fight with Areola. Man, I was gonna say something. Oh yeah, that's right. About Border Wars, man. That preview, man. God, dude, like it was a great preview. I showed it to my buddy at work, and he's like, he got pumped. He actually wanted to join in Border Wars. He's not even a boxing fan like that. And I was like, yo, man, you got to sign up. So I got him buying gloves and headgear and all this kinds of stuff because he wants to get in on it too. So that's pretty cool that, showing somebody the preview would motivate them to get in there too. But it kind of ruined it for me because I seen a couple of the finishes on the preview, and I was like, God damn, I wanted to watch the damn fight. So, but whatever, it is what it is. I'm sure it was a great event, and I'm looking forward to actually participating and being in that environment with you guys, man. That'd be a great experience. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Hopefully you guys come back to the West Coast soon. So, on top of that, other than that, though, man, great show, man. Great interview with Teofimo Lopez, man. That's awesome. Fucking, it was heating up. It was getting exciting. Goddamn Vegas Mountains, man. What can you do? But yeah, great show, guys, and keep it up, man. TBV for life.
Shout out to you for calling in on Skype,
Caesar.
man. With the Vegas, he's in Vegas, but it's better on Skype. Jesus, we're being attacked once again.
Caesar made a really good point. I'll put it to you this way: if Wilder were to change, if he had to change, Buddy McGirt is a pretty interesting choice. I like that choice. I think it's decent. It's better than George Foreman.
I mean, you hating on Foreman, and you have every right to because he doesn't have the resume, but he's got the brain. He's got the brain. He's the legend, man. You can't take that away. Experience, LOX, man, living off experience.
You're right.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I was just saying you're right.
All right, let me get to some more calls. We got Trey in the Bay, Boomerang. My bad. Shit. Trey. You just listening? Trey. All right, she's just up. There she goes.
Y'all hear me?
We hear you now.
Yeah. Hey, man, Mario, what's up? Y'all playing good cop, bad cop earlier? Boy, you was dogging George Foreman, man. I mean, what the fuck going on here?
Oh, man. It wasn't like that, but, I feel how I feel.
I mean, my background kind of loud, y'all. Just come back to me on my second call. Ness, I was on another call. Hey, Ness, I called in to Akim Barat. Man, I didn't even know what to do. They threw me right in without me even hearing the conversation.
Oh, man. Yeah. Hey, man, listen, it's the support that counts, man. That's all that matters, man.
I called twice, and I told the producers I was calling. You sent me there, so that should count for something.
For sure, man. They felt it.
All right.
Yo, she hold it down.
Yeah, no, they definitely felt the TBV love, man. Shout out to J Mac as well. Thank you for reminding me. J Mac called in. Mario called in. Who else called in, man? Few people called in, man. So we definitely appreciate the love and support, man. It was a good conversation. It's a great experience. You know what I mean? And you never know, man. You never know what comes from that. We're gonna go out to alumni in California.
Mr. Info Joe.
This portion of the show we call In the
Mr.
Know,
Info Joe.
presented by my brother.
Yo, what up, Ness? What up, Mario?
What
What up, Joe?
Oh, man. Hey, first things first. Prayers in the air for the boss, Mike Gross. If you're listening, brother, we all rooting for you. Prayers in the air for Mike. Hope everything is cool. Yo, put me down for Adam and Efe. I'm loving this card, man. I love this resurgence. Not resurgence, but this big push with the networks for the heavyweight boxing, man. When heavyweight boxing is back in a real way, man. That was the glamour division at one time. I disagree with you, Mario. I think Bud versus Pac is a bigger fight, man, than Mikey versus Pac. And yeah, I think so, man. Bud is pound for pound number one against one of the old legend greats, Why not? He has a belt. They both can unify. Why not? But as far as oh, you know what, Ness? Give me that crow, man, for Jesse.
Damn, champ, you picked Jesse?
I picked Jesse. Hey, man, the scorecard should have been a whole lot closer, though. I will say that. As far as Wilder and picking Foreman, man, I think it's a good pick, man. Foreman has a wealth of knowledge. A lot of people feel that Foreman is going to try to make Wilder fight like him. I don't think so. I think him just being a good advisor, he knows all his mistakes. He done seen people like Wilder with big punches before. I'm stumbling right now because I just smoked some of that good kush, man. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. But most people feel that way, man. I think Foreman is a good look, man, and he has a wealth of knowledge, man. It'll add on more than it'll take away if he came into his camp. One more thing, Ness. Can you play Mike's intro in my time right now, man? Let's let the brother feel that he's in here. You know what I'm saying? I'm out. Peace.
I speak it, believe it, receive it. Speak it, believe it, receive it. Speak it, believe it, receive it. I can't say it enough. I speak it, believe it.
Windows camp, 2 attempts, handed bands over. Sicko hit, shot and miss, 2 to stand over.
Turn up.
Breadwinner, huh? Look who in the building. Let me check my Instagram. I might be at 1 million.
And I'm in.
BoxingWinners.com.
All right. Let's keep these lines moving. We're going down to J. Will.
I used to get it in Ohio.
Jay, Will, you there?
J. Will, going once, twice.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Yeah, man, Mario, man. You're bugging, man. You said it would be, you couldn't think of a worse narrative than George Foreman trying to help out Deontay Wilder for several weeks, man. I just don't, to me, I don't see how you see it was corny, man. Like, George Foreman, unless you don't think George Foreman has a lot of knowledge, but when George Foreman was doing this telecast, or do his commentary, I should say, on an HBO telecast, was very knowledgeable. Like I said before, I think he was a little bit more knowledgeable than he was a little bit more articulate and a little bit more knowledgeable than Roy Jones, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Also, it's like, to me, he's not going to be there to pretty much saying like, all right, these are the drills you got to run, yada yada. He's going to pretty much be more in Mark Breland's ear, and Mark Breland's going to be the one, still training Deontay. I see it more like how your boy Barry Hunter came in and helped Kenny Porter, and how pretty much your boy Freddie Roach came in and helped Tyson Fury the first time, more like a liaison or just an advisor. I don't see him really being some head trainer type dude for the whole 4 weeks he's out there. So I think he can't do nothing but helping. And that's really it. He needs somebody to really, to really show him how to really be a big heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? How to fight as a big heavyweight and how to fight the right way as a big heavyweight. Mark Breland can show him how to throw the 1-2 the right way. But as far as positioning, mastering the distance and things like that, George Foreman was awkward himself. Like, he wasn't really technical himself. The way he threw his punches was not really technical, but he still had that power that you can't really teach. He was just born with, just like Deontay was born with. So I see a lot of similarities, and I think George Foreman is going to be a good way to teach him to get that right hand on somebody who's kind of moving around a little bit. But yeah, that's my call.
Yo, Jay Will, let me tell you, I'm going to take an L after that call because that was a really, really great call. To me, the best argument made so far for this is what Jay Will just said about Foreman's time on HBO, because he was so knowledgeable. He was much better than Roy Jones. Jay Will's absolutely right. The only point I'll make in my defense is that it's one thing to have a lot of knowledge. It's another thing to be able to teach that knowledge. Growing up, taking lessons in baseball, I was a pretty serious baseball player, played a little bit in college, and being and coaching others. I know that that's a difficult thing. And I've trained boxing for a long time. It's great when you have a trainer that's been there so long and he can tell you to do something and you're not doing it. Then he tells you in a different way, and then he shows you a different way, and he finds what works for you. That is a trait that you can only pick up after years of training. And, you know, I don't know, nothing suggests to me that Foreman would have that.
Going out to Ringer, I think. Rel, what up?
Yo,
what
up, Ness?
What's going on?
I just want to say thank you for the Teofimo Lopez interview. I didn't hear it all. I got to go back and watch it. But you always provide the best content. TBV for life. I want to shout out Mike. I wish him good health. Prayers in Jesus' name. As far as my fight, as far as this George Foreman versus Wilder situation, first of all, for the people that don't know who I am, it's Terrell Fireflame Harris, the ringer, Border Wars contender, heavyweight, TVV Patreon. Nah, back to what I was saying. Wilder versus Wilder versus Fury 3. I feel like George Foreman is a great solution for Wilder. But at the same time, I got a question. Was George Foreman ever good at defense and footwork? I don't know that 100%.
I mean, he was good enough to be a two-time heavyweight champion, man. He was good enough to win that title after he was plus 40 years old, winning from a young champion in Michael Moore. And I think that, Jay Will said it the best, man. You know, him being on HBO made it really simple for us to understand boxing. But Mario also said it the best. Does that translate into teaching? You know, it's something to be seen.
Well, I would like to say this. Wilder's biggest mistake from part 3 was the fact that he's used to coming in as the bigger fighter. For Tyson Fury, Wilder won. Fury with Ben Davison trained for defense. So part 1 was defense. It was just for Fury to pretty much pot shot and dodge heavy blows. For part 2, when Sugar Hill trained him, it turned into a KO. He wanted a KO. Now Wilder has a reach of 83 inches. Tyson Fury has a reach of 85 inches. Deontay Wilder cannot move backwards in part 3. That was his only mistake. And the reason why he had that habit is because he usually has the reach on his opponents. I feel like with George Foreman, he gonna give him the remedy for a perfect 1-2 down the pipe and side-to-side movement instead of going straight back. That's Wilder only fought. I see for part 3, Wilder getting a spark out KO if everything go good in training camp. I got Kownacki for my pick on Fox. And what's the DAZN card? I don't even know what the DAZN card is.
Scott Quigg versus Jonah Carr.
I'm gonna check it out, and then I'll get my immediate reaction on that. But I got Kownacki, of course, by knockout. I feel like he need a knockout against a no name like this. You can't tomato can. You can't let it go to decision. So I just feel like Kownacki should get the knockout. And yeah, that's my call. TBV for life. I see y'all in the morning. Peace.
Fire Flame.
Yo, real quick,
thanks for calling in.
We have some super chats here from Eric. God damn it. Yo, my phone. Can you grab those real quick? My phone just popped up. Real quick, I do want to tell Rel, though. Yo, I thought Jay Will said it best, too. Foreman wasn't clunky. He said he was awkward, is what he said, which was a really very great choice of words. But at the same time, like, he wasn't clunky. I'll put it this way. He was more agile than probably you would have assumed by just looking at picture. Specifically, though, and more so in his, in the 70s. But, he was a big guy, and you'd be surprised how well he moved and how he wasn't light-footed by any means, but he definitely he definitely had a soft touch. You know, he had a very soft touch to the mat. He wasn't very clunky. Maybe older, maybe in his older career, he was a little more clunky, but he had a softer foot than people give him credit for.
All right, sorry about that. Let's see what we got. Julio, talk to me.
Ness, the interview with Timofo Lopez, amazing interview, amazing. These fights, the Kawasaki, I got him winning, and then I can't wait to see Efe. The George Foreman, I'm not buying it. It's like I don't think he can bring anything to the table. Probably advice, but other than that, he's been out of the game for a while. But that's pretty much it. And that's my call, guys. Great show. I'm out.
Julio, man, thank you for calling in. Let's see what we got. Aaron, talk to me, California.
What's up, guys? Yeah, I definitely disagree with Mario. I mean, from the way Mario talks, it seems, I mean, let me ask you, Mario, are you a historian of boxing? Do you know the past fights with Foreman and Muhammad Ali? Can I ask that question?
Fights, but I've never cataloged like a historian, no.
Okay. So, who was hanging around Muhammad Ali's camp? Do you know? Joe Louis. Joe Louis was a staple of Muhammad, especially early on in Cassius Clay. Who was in Foreman's camp a lot? Archie Moore. You know what I mean? So it's like not the first time. I mean, so, you know, again, George Foreman, like Nez likes to say, Fury is the modern day Ali. Foreman fought Muhammad Ali. This is Foreman's redemption. I said this a couple of weeks ago. If Foreman had a second chance against Ali, what would he do differently? And you got to remember that fight with Foreman and Ali. Foreman was winning the fight. Buddy McGirt was on the other day. He said the hardest fight that he had ever watched was seeing Ali take those body shots from Foreman. Foreman was winning the fight. Do you know why he did not get up from the knockdown? Because he was waiting for his corner to tell him to get up. And when they told him to get up, it was too late. So Foreman was winning the fight. So there's a lot of things that he can take from that Ali fight, from all his experience, and not so much training, but even just the mental aspect to give Deontay Wilder just that little boost of confidence going into that rematch with Fury for the trilogy. I mean, to dismiss that, Mario, is just like, wow, I can't see how you would say this doesn't benefit Wilder tremendously, or at least somewhat. It's not no kind of PC move or publicity move. No, this is a strategic move. It's a great move. You have a veteran guy who's been around the game for 40 plus years. It's a win-win situation. And again, I think this gives him the edge going into the trilogy fight. Again, I like Wilder in the trilogy. That's my call.
Great
Aaron,
call, man. Listen,
thanks for calling in.
Oh, my bad. I'll preface this by saying I butchered that. Look, I'll just say this, okay? I'm not saying that there aren't benefits and that there couldn't be benefits and that George Foreman doesn't contain this, vast knowledge, and he is an eloquent speaker. Jay Will, thank you for reminding me about his amazing time on HBO as a commentator. So he has plenty of talent. My whole thing is, what kind of capacity will it be? Because
90 seconds.
More negatives about it. Him interrupting in camp, him getting in the way of his real team prepping him. Because that's the thing is, like, if you're going to have somebody come and play that role, then they need to play that role. But if it gets messy or if he takes them on fully, those are huge mistakes in my opinion. And I know nobody's saying that he'd take them on fully, and I know that's not confirmed by any means, but the point of the show, the point of the breaking news is that Wilder's considering this. And if he's going to consider this, he needs to be very aware of the situation. And he can't let this become a media circus or a publicity stunt like it very well could become. Not to say it wouldn't be beneficial, but would the cons outweigh the pros is my standpoint. Also, fuck you for making me look bad. That was a really well articulated argument.
I just don't see how it doesn't help.
I'm trolling, by the way. I didn't mean that. I was just saying, like, that was a good argument, and now I look like a dick.
Alrighty then. Who do we got? Looking like, oh yes. 10 seconds. That is definitely a ringer on the line.
I said that, where the ace at? Where the ace at?
I don't believe no motherfucking beat me. I'm not supposed to. My nephew is a elite fighter, so he ain't gonna. He wanna fight the guy that's proven himself and the guy that people think he can't beat. And that's how you get paid. Right? All right.
Hey, shout out Tabo, Riddick Bo Mac, and Bo Jackson. How y'all doing, fellas?
Bo and Bama, what it do?
Oh, well.
What up? Yeah, we're good, man.
Hey, Mario, it's been a minute, man. Glad to have you back. Big Ness.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing that Border Wars. Also, Mike, get well soon. I know you're out there, man. I know you're listening, bro. Get well. Respond to us, man. Y'all like brothers, man. Something would have happened to this, I'd be sad as hell. Something that happened when Mario left, bro. I was sad, but he back now, so hell, it's all good. Mike, don't respond to it, man. We can't lose you, bro. I don't know what you had surgery on or nothing like that, but don't respond. Let us know you're okay and go back into hiding or recovering or whatnot. But, hey, what was the last caller? What's dude's name? Because I typically think I hear that voice and I don't like what he... Aaron. That ain't Cantu, is it?
Nah.
That ain't Aaron Cantu, is it?
No, that's another Aaron.
Yeah, hey, dude, I like what he was saying, man, because I'm literally watching the the Rumble in the Jungle. I think I'm in the 4th round, and then he came on and started pretty much saying exactly what I was looking at. So I agree with what he was saying, man. It's like the redemption, and I truly feel like Foreman has in his head maybe a good game plan to win the second fight. Because the Rumble in the Jungle looked kind of like Fury or Wilder to an extent. Only to an extent, because Foreman did better than what Wilder did in the first fight. He put on pressure the whole fight. But, I don't know, just the styles overall look very similar to Wilder and Fury. How I feel to be back, Mario?
Thanks, sir. Thank you.
No, he said, how's it feel?
I said, how does it feel to be back?
Happy to have you back.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it feels good. To be honest with you, this show has just come a long way, bro. Like, I mean, interrupting, like, that's not even a thing anymore with guests or with callers, and it's just so much more organized, and it's really awesome how far it's come.
Yeah, just while you were gone, I don't know, I ultimately feel that, Ness kind of adjusted how he play the game, you know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot more people watching, a lot more people listening. He's working with different people. And I don't know, I feel like Ness really changed his game. And shout out to Mike, because I think Mike, you know what I'm saying, kind of assisted in helping fine-tune Ness. Now Ness a beast, you know what I'm saying? He pick and choose what he wants to do. He's doing all type of stuff behind the scenes, traveling hours and all. I don't know, bro. And he know which shows work best for him, like live reaction better than actually going to the fight. We got people at the fights. I don't know, bro. It has grown. I wish we could get back a couple other people. I was gonna throw their name out there, but I really like the trio with Mike, Ness, and Mario. That's all I really got. Shout out Doomsday and Casual Fan too. Shout out them two as well. I ain't really had nothing to say, bro. I'm in here chilling, watching the fight, and then I just thought I'd chime in after Aaron.
Well, Bo,
shout out Roger Mayweather and Don King.
Always appreciate, obviously, the kind words, and thank you for calling in. Yeah, man. Look, man, I'm definitely still trying. Some other people I wanna get back on the panel and bring them together like Voltron, man. I think that 2020 is the year, and it would be good to have the right starting 5 on the squad, so we could go ahead and get this 6-peat like Jordan in his prime. You know what I mean? I gotta reference old day other sports because I don't watch them. Let's see who we got. All right. It's your turn. You've been waiting all night to talk. You're going to make your grand entrance. First time caller, Madam Julson, I don't know. Help us out. Who's this? Madam, how are you? Where you calling in from? You got to unmute, Madam Julson.
I think I hear the background now. There you go.
Nah, she still ain't unmute.
Oh.
She's figuring it out. Working on it. If you go to your screen, there should be a unmute button, and you just you just click that. You just touch that. Touch screen. Hopefully you got a touch screen over there. All right. In the meantime, we're gonna go out to Majimbe then because she has not figured it out. Majimbe, what up?
What up? ¿Qué lo que?
Dímelo.
All right, so the whole Foreman thing, you guys got to understand, it's all about pedigree. This is some guy that trained with Sonny Liston. Archie Moore then trained him. It's all about pedigree. These are two of the biggest punchers in boxing history to train George Foreman, and now George Foreman's going to take his knowledge and give it to Deontay as an advisor, not as a head coach, advisor, and show him what the past generation showed him to become one of the biggest punchers. And now you have the guy that is going to become the biggest puncher in the heavyweight division ever with this knowledge. It's all about that. So I'm extremely happy as somebody that follows and studies the old generation. Extremely excited for this. I don't know if I'm going to change my mind on who I'm going to pick. I think, I don't know. I'm still tossing and turning in my head about the whole situation, who I think is going to win the third fight, but definitely happy about this. Extremely happy about the Canelo Billy Joe fight. I think everybody that's always hating on Canelo, doesn't fight the best. Listen, man, he's ASAP for a reason. He's the king of boxing. He gets to do what he wants. Same as Floyd. But that's it. Y'all have a good night.
All right, brother. Well, thank you for calling in. Looks like we got a new caller in a 937. Never, ever heard of that. 937, first time caller, please. No Bluetooths, no speakers. What up?
This is Ralph.
Ralph, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, man? We were talking about this last week about Foreman, and I felt that he could help him. How you doing, Mario? First time I heard of you. I've been listening for a while. I didn't know about you, but how you doing, Mario?
I'm good, man. I'm an older guy, so that's why.
Right, Ralph. I apologize. I see your number here. Ralph from Dayton, Ohio. My bad, champ.
That's cool, man. It's all right. I think Foreman's knowledge will help, as everybody else said. A lot of guys before me kind of took my thing, as far as the information. But one thing I would say that I want you guys to kind of understand what Foreman is. Huh?
They stole your thunder?
Oh. Yeah, they stole it. But, if you go back and look at Foreman's fights, he also stood up in the corner in his fights. He never sat down because as an old man when he was in his 50s, he said, I didn't want to get stiff. So for you to have that type of stamina at that age, to stand up in every round for like a 12-round fight, you must know something. You know what I mean? I don't know if it'll translate in terms of Wilder, but I know one thing. His health and his legs should be a lot better for this fight. So I hope, just that translates, and he's going to learn so much about just setting up the jab. And just if you can look back at Foreman's videos on throwing the counter left hooks and the short uppercuts, I think if he could just do some of those things, I think the fight would be a lot different. So, God bless y'all, and I'll talk to y'all later.
Yeah, man.
Thanks,
what
Good
Foreman
call,
had was that flashing jab, and right behind it came that really fast right hand.
He thudded too, though, man. Oh, those shots, Dean.
Definitely, man. Looks like we got Jerron in Louisiana. What up?
Good afternoon, Mike. I'm looking forward to all these fights this week. I'm not making picks, but I'll definitely watch as many of the fights this weekend as I can. As far as Wilder and Foreman, I think again that's a good pick because Foreman has been where Wilder is, having had a big loss, being a big puncher, and I agree with what the last caller said about the hooks and the uppercuts. I think that'll be good weapons for Wilder, especially if he can learn to back up to the left or to the right and use those punches and hurt Fury with something besides that right hand, because then Fury can't just concentrate on, I got to stop him from throwing that right hand. And so Manny Pacquiao, though, I think, like you said, enough of the, while Crawford is a good fight, I think, Garcia will be the more entertaining fight. That's my call.
All right. Jerron, Louisiana, stand up. Thanks for calling in. We're going on out to is it Sharon? Sharon? Your username says Madam Jules, so I don't know if you know how to unmute yourself, Sharon, so that you can talk. No, not yet. All right. You're going to have to figure that one out. We're going out to Rap in Combat. Rap in Combat. You sound like a Mario friend. Rap in Combat. You want to speak up? You're unmuted, but you're not speaking. Going once. Twice.
Hello.
Yes.
There you go.
Just want to shout out to everyone from me, Sharon from Australia.
Sharon in
Hi,
Australia. How are you? How are you?
I'm great.
So talk to us.
I'm just saying hello, mate. That's all.
Oh, all right. So you no boxing opinion for today. Well, I want to thank you for calling in all the way in Australia, helping us continue to make this show international. We do appreciate that, Sharon.
Yeah, I'm just new to this forum, so I'm just filling it out first.
No problem. All right. Well, thank you. There you have it, Sharon from Australia. We're going back out to Rap in Combat. Are you available? All right. No Rap in Combat. We're going to, we went to Stonebone. We went to J. Will. We got, all right, Boomerang time. Trey in the Bay, Boomerang. Oh, no, she said give it to, who you said give it to? Uh-oh. I forgot.
Man, I forgot who she said. I need to write it down.
I said come back to me, man.
Oh, that's right.
Come back to me last.
I forgot, because that surprised me.
All right, we're back to you. What's up? I guess not now. Not now. You don't want to come back? Okay, J Mac, Boomerang.
Hey, come back to me last, Ness.
All right.
Yo.
What up, J Mac?
Yo. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this Canelo. Clembuto Alvarez and his Billy nose spray Saunders fight stuff. Them dudes might as well just come out and start shooting up in the corners. They're gonna be feeding Canelo the beef, and they're gonna be giving Billy Joe Saunders nose shots to his nose straight up, man. Unfortunately, with the nose spray and the Clembuto and the meat, with Canelo might just be taking shots like straight ass and shit like that. I don't know, man. Them dudes just hilarious with this cheating and shit. I got flat foot Canelo beating Joe Saunders because you know he be paying guys to take dives and shit like that. So I'm pretty sure he'll come out successful in that fight. Or he gonna have the judges in his corner. Or it'll be a catch weight. Or it'll be a weight class. Have Billy Joe Saunders coming in the ring at 155, some shit like that. You know how Canelo get down. What y'all was talking about else besides that tonight?
Foreman Wilder. We're talking Pacquiao Garcia or Pacquiao Bud, which more likely. And
definitely Pacquiao and
for this
Bud.
weekend.
Definitely Pacquiao and Bud, man. I think Mari, you said Mike and Pacquiao. You wishing on the start with that. Pacquiao and Bud definitely sells more. And I'm looking forward to that. That fight could be made because we know what Bud want and we know what these fighters don't want. Vid Mr. Errol Spence sitting in that crowd looking very uncomfortable last week after watching Deontay Wilder get separated from his body and he saw his fate and going forward. For his George Foreman training Deontay Wilder, I think it'd be a good voice. That'd probably be a good matchup. Definitely better than Floyd. I'm not interested in Floyd helping out Deontay Wilder. Like I say, I don't take him serious. For his Jozaki, who's he fighting? Yo, yeah, you say Jozaki, right?
Helenius is
Kownacki. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Yeah, he's
Oh,
fighting Robert
Kownacki.
Helenius. Yeah, he's fighting
Oh,
Robert
Helenius.
Helenius.
I don't know much about Helenius, so I can't pick. But I know dude is a pretty good heavyweight until he's stepping up at the top in the league, guys, or stepping in with Ortiz or something like that. That's all.
I want to clarify real quick. I obviously like Pacquiao. Bud is obviously the bigger fight and more meaningful fight for boxing. What I was specifically talking about is which I think is the bigger money fight in terms of what produces more money. And yeah, I think Garcia Pacquiao does. I wouldn't be shocked if Bud outdid him, but and this isn't a knock on Bud's draw or anything like that. I just think that a Garcia Pacquiao, I think that the storyline in that and the way that can be promoted would definitely catch attention from the casual fan.
All right, let's go out to Josue, Lower Oregon. What up?
Hey, yo, what up? What up? Wait, what up, Mario? What up, Ness? Hey, you guys had that question, like, there's that Gervonta Davis, Santa Cruz fight. Is it lit for the Mexicans? And man, I gotta say, man, I'm all the way in Oregon, and we're lit for this shit, man. I'm behind all the Mexicans every time. I always root for them against any other fighter, and this is pretty dope because it's gonna be blacks versus Mexicans. So every time that happens, it's fucking fireworks, man. Like Floyd Mayweather said it best: when you have them two together, man, it's you have you make the best fights. And but yeah, man, as far as that, I don't have too much to say. I just wanted to just give my opinion about that because I'm lit. I think Gervonta Davis deserves a big ass whooping, and I don't think he takes it from Santa Cruz, but I do think Santa Cruz could upset that card, and get a unanimous decision. So don't sleep on Santa Cruz. But other than that, that's all I got. Viva Boxing Boys.
Wow, Santa Cruz upset the apple cart. That's a bold choice.
Word. He's so thin. How does he survive a Gervonta barrage of punches? But we got a mastermind on the line in the 504. What it do?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you a young fella, and he comes from the Magnolia.
Hello.
Whoa. What's poppin', man? Look, man, Mike, get well soon, you hear me? Hope everything went all right with you, homie. But shit, that's really all I got, man. Give my boomerang the stone bone or something, you hear me?
For sure. Rap and combat. You just unmuted. Are you ready? Can you speak? Because you don't seem to be speaking with your unmute button. Once, twice. Stone bone, boomerang.
The Kownacki and Helenius. I think Kownacki's a better than decent fighter. You know what I mean? I think he one of those what they call it, the hard hat guys, one of them lunch pail guys, one of the guys that's just you're gonna get a good fight, and I think that's why it's getting real good traction out there on the East Coast. So I hope they keep doing some over there, get it bigger, and then go ahead and do him and Ruiz or him and Ortiz, one of them guys. And man, listen, Mikey, I love Mikey, good fighter. But everybody always be talking about what has Crawford done to get this fight, or what has Charlo done to get this fight? What has Mikey done to get the Pacquiao fight? I would have rather Pacquiao fight Danny. At least Danny, was coming off some win streaks and looking good. Mikey is, come on, man, quit acting like Mikey just some. And as far as this, he's such a big draw. More people pay to watch Dak Prescott run around in his shorts and no pads on in the Dallas practice stadium than watch Mikey versus Jesse. That's a fact. So without Earl, he didn't do no 40, 50,000. So let's be honest about what we seeing. Mike is a good fighter. I don't know about this big draw. He just did like 9, 10,000. More people watch Dak Prescott run around in shorts on a Tuesday at a practice than they did watch that fight. So let's keep it real. Bud and Pacquiao.
Yeah, I don't know anybody making an argument that Mikey's a draw right now. I think that what we had said earlier too was that
I mean, he's
Pacquiao
got to
helps
be
him become that
something
draw.
if they trying to give him all that money.
Listen, he's got the tools, he's got the look, he's got the when you're gonna start to make a meal and you get the ingredients, right? That's what Mikey is. He's got all the ingredients and they're starting to put them all together, from that outside the ring perspective to build a portfolio. But yeah, listen, no, there's nobody that's going to disagree that we don't want the Mikey fight right now. He hasn't done enough. Bud definitely deserves this fight. That's the fight we all want. And I say we, I mean hardcores. But you just got to understand that Mikey Pacquiao makes so much sense to both of them. They're not thinking about us. They're thinking about themselves. And, that's what they have the right to do. And they know that each of them means more money to each other. And Pacquiao's also going with the guy who's not going to present a lot of issues when it comes to power and size and dictating pace.
Yeah, Mikey seems like a more competitive fight in Pacquiao's eyes for himself.
Yep.
It's more of a level playing field. Earl and Crawford are the real welterweights.
Exactly.
But I'm sorry. Let me. Oh, he just hung up. Mr. Rap in Combat. He kept trying. The man kept trying. You got to give him that. All right. Well, that is everyone because it was Rap in Combat that I was gonna try and go back out to on a double up. Oh, there he goes. Rap in Combat. Are you there?
Yo, can you guys hear me?
Now we do.
Yeah, we got you loud and clear.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on, good people? Sorry for the technical difficulties.
What's up, brother? Where you calling in from?
I'm calling in from Brooklyn, New York.
Nice.
Excuse me. I'm calling in from Brooklyn, New York. It's my first time. I just want to really, really, really give you guys a big shout out. You guys have been on the ground for a minute. Ness, you've been doing your thing out here, especially, on the Jersey side of things and just how you're building this out. It's beautiful. I definitely would love to build with you on the sideline and talk, just some game and give some tips and stuff like that. I tried to connect with you on Instagram a few times. I know you're very busy this week and last week and all that, so I'll give it about a month before
hit me up right now so I know it's you. Hit me up right now while you're on the phone or as soon as you get off the call.
All right, cool. Sounds good. So first and foremost, I know a lot of people are, talking about this weekend's fights at Barclays, and a lot of them are kind of voicing their opinion that they don't really care about it. I think we need to start changing our attitudes as boxing fans because this is what gives, that whole like argument of casual versus like diehard it's kind of pointless because like even us as diehard fans, we pick and choose what fights we want to watch, and we kind of just draw attention to those big name fights as well too. I think right now, especially when it's in the building stage and we see this a special time for heavyweight boxing, we should embrace it all. And I think you guys do a great job as that, of course, as media. But I think just the total picture as fans, we just need to, be a little bit like just appreciative of the approaches that are being put out by these promotions right now. As far as, Tank goes, I definitely feel where some of you guys are coming from with that. I don't think Tank has been proven yet. I don't know if Santa Cruz is that guy to be proven with. But we'll see how it goes. I'm all the way with Canelo, kind of, picking and choosing now. He's kind of earned that right. And that's kind of all that I really wanted to say. In terms of Deontay Wilder and George Foreman, also, I think a lot of people are underrating or undervaluing George Foreman and what he could possibly do. If we haven't trained with the guy, we can't necessarily speak on what he can do or what he won't do or anything like that. This guy is a former world champ. He's a legend. And he probably knows what to say and how to say it to activate something into the Deontay Wilder's championship sides. So that's it, y'all.
Yo, Rap in Combat, that was a great first call, and you're absolutely right. What people don't know is that before I showed up to Border Wars about a month ago, maybe a little more, Ness hit me up, and we talked, and so I was excited about coming back. Right, I really was. I wish Border Wars was sooner so that I could have came back for Fury and Wilder, and I thought that the fight happened, and I was like, yo, this was so awesome. Everybody should celebrate. And, unfortunately they didn't. Like, it turned into this us versus you type of thing. And either Wilder, was a piece of shit and he never was good, or Fury got a lucky punch in. Like, both men delivered. And, that's what I loved about the show. And that's the other thing, is I've been listening to the show for months now, probably longer than that. But, it's one of those things where I've been listening to the show and hearing, and this is the platform. There's a lot of great dudes that call in and feel that way. So I'm glad that that's what this show provides, because I'm not going to lie, it's been hard the last, 3 months on Twitter and seeing people say what they say and just being like, God damn, y'all are some ugly ass motherfuckers. Excuse my language.
All right. We got Boomerang, Stainless. What up?
Yo, good point to what Mario said. I've been telling you this for years now, and that's you. Everybody got to come through you just to get to a boxing platform. I mean, unless they, Dante's Boxing Nation, Fight Hype, some of those has been along for as long as you have, or if not longer. They got to come through you, especially now that you're doing the morning shows, man. You're on 2-3 times a day. You getting all these interviews and shit. Good interviews, by the way. I didn't really know about Jeremiah Milton, so it was good to hear about him sparring with Joe Joyce, kind of getting out of his amateur and into his professional. So it's somebody I'll be watching now what they start. You know what I mean? So you are giving boxing that platform, man. Be proud of yourself. I know you always try to be humble with it, but be proud of yourself, man, for what you're doing and what you continue to do. Continue to stay hungry and stay humble, as AJ say. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't get to speak on the Scott Quigg fight. I'm gonna pick him anyway. I mean, it's Scott Quigg. But it's still a fight I look forward to, man. I'm happy we got all this boxing going on. So on to these other callers. I know they got more real shit to say, but if you ain't on Patreon, you are stupid. And if you ain't pushed the thumbs up, you stupid too. Peace.
Peace.
You know the saying, stay hungry, stay humble. I'm hungry, I'm humble in defeat, and I'm going to remain humble in victory. This is it, right?
Donna DiBiase Productions.
I just wanted to put on a great boxing masterclass.
All right, we got Boomerang, Mastermind Boomerang. I know you say you're just listening, but giving you your opportunity to double back. Go on one. All right, there you go.
Get the stone bone.
Oh, that's right. He did. Oh, he gave it to Stonebone. That's right. So it's Trey. You're up. No more hiding.
Hey man, I ain't hiding.
Damn, Trey, what the hell? You done hung up? Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I don't know what. Man, hold on. Let me take it off. Man, I don't know what happened. But
you hung up again on yourself.
Hello?
Yeah.
See there. Oh, we hear you now.
Can you hear me? Y'all getting the echo? For whatever reason, I set up my Bluetooth, it just keep turning off, man.
We don't hear no echo. Just go ahead and talk. We don't hear no echo.
What I want to know is when we found out Vladimir Klitschko was training Anthony Joshua, how come nobody questioned Vladimir Klitschko's intelligence or his willing to train or all that other weird shit, man? How come when it's a black man, our intelligence get questioned? How come when it's a black man, we got all these weird ass questions, man? Vlad ain't ever trained no motherfucking body. How is Vlad even better than George? Like, I mean, in certain ways, but I mean, what's the difference, man? I just want to know.
Again,
I guess you're right. I guess you're right, but from a you got to understand, Vlad was a phone call. AJ made us believe that he just talked to him for advice. He didn't go to him as a trainer. He wasn't brought in as a trainer.
See, but she's right and she's wrong. She's making some really good points. She is.
Okay, well, point out when I'm wrong, but I'm still on the call.
Okay,
and then you can tell me how I'm right when I'm off.
Because Vladimir Klitschko had helped train Vitaly for years. He was in those camps, and he had a
you mean his brother
helping that guy get trouble. Yeah.
So you don't think? So you don't think Jamal? So you don't think Jamal and Jamel train together? You don't think Jamal and Jamel train together?
Absolutely,
You don't think so?
together.
You don't think his brother give him pointers?
I'm sure he does. Yeah, absolutely.
So wait, do Jamal got low intelligence? I mean, I'm just trying to figure this shit out.
But it's still not. No. It's not low intelligence. George Foreman is extremely intelligent. Knows the sport. And is extremely articulate.
When we say where, see, where is mean things? Where is mean things? So when you say capable or incapable, I don't think it's relevant. Like those words mean things.
I feel you. I feel you. Listen, I feel you.
That's my call, man. That's my call. Now when I get off, you can tell me what's good. Thank you.
Good. No problem. No problem. Listen, I feel you. I do. I hear what you're saying, and I don't think that you're wrong. What I think is that coaching is such a different thing. Like, just because you're an astrophysicist doesn't mean you should be operating on people's brains. You feel what I'm saying? So it's not about intelligence. It's not about knowledge. That has nothing to do with it. The man has plenty of it. And could Wilder benefit from some of it? Sure. In an appropriate manner. He has a training team that helped him to almost beat Tyson Fury the first fight. They are fully capable of doing what they need to do to beat Tyson Fury. That's where I'm coming from, is that I don't want this to take away, because that's what happened right after the fight. You know, he wasn't happy about the towel. He wasn't happy, you know, and he was outspoken about that. So for him to bring in Foreman at this point, I just think it could sever ties or put bad taste in people's mouths. And I wouldn't want anything to prevent Wilder from showing up on fight night in his best version. And that depends more on the camp that he's had in the following years than it does with any George Foreman or Evander Holyfield or Mike Tyson. All three of them can come in. It's not going to make a difference because that man already has what it takes to win. So you're going to talk about, oh, well, you know, this intelligence, oh, what a black person can do. Well, black person almost won that fight by himself. Okay. And who's to say that Foreman's not jumping on a fucking bandwagon? Why aren't you want to train somebody? Take one of the kids from Brooklyn or Philadelphia or Detroit that I just saw the documentaries on that are having hard times getting fights and getting on promotions. Take one of those kids that have shitty amateur careers, build them up. You know how to fucking build a fighter? Then build it with the kids that need it. Start from scratch. Don't come into a fucking champion's backyard and try to piggyback off that motherfucker. Don't do that shit. Wilder don't deserve
that's what she's saying. Why is it piggybacking? Why is it clout chasing? Why is it that he doesn't bring anything or can't bring much?
It might not be. And I'm not saying that's what it is. Listen, I bring these points up to bring them up. Okay? At no point did I say that I'm in favor of Mikey Garcia Pacquiao, but because I put out the point that they could be the more significant financial fight, that means that's the fight I won over Bud? No, that's fucking crazy. Listen,
I mean, you could want it because you're a Mexican. You could want it for same way Josue says he roots for every Mexican regardless. That could be your thing.
And to say the way that Nardwar called in and said that, you know, why are we hating on Mikey? You know, he's only got one loss and he's racked up these wins. It's the truth. You know what I mean? But I'm not sitting here saying, oh, why is the Mexican not getting his chance? Like, no, he's not. He sucks. I mean, he doesn't suck. He's an incredible fighter. He's the top of the division. But it sucks to have to think of him getting the fight over Bud, because Bud has deserved Pacquiao for so much longer. So this has nothing to do with intelligence. This has nothing to do with capability. This has everything to do with owning an attribute that just because you have many of these other attributes doesn't mean you have this ability to coach. That's a very specific
I just don't believe it's fair. I don't believe it's fair to say that someone can't do something because they've never done it.
I listen, I'm not saying that he can't. The only thing, listen, I also think, you know what I don't think is fair? I don't think it's fair to ignore what happened in the first fight, to ignore the fact that Wilder has gotten here with the team that he got in here. He has a guy in his camp that he's had for such a long time, from the very beginning, basically, who's in the video with Charlie Z, by the way. And it's one of those things where I feel like he's done everything he can do, you know, to beat Fury. He has it in him. He doesn't need any special concoction or any special game plan.
But why is George Foreman a special concoction? Why can't and again I'm going.
That's a good point.
But listen,
that's a good point.
I'm going back to Trey's call, and all she's saying is, When AJ received the call, by the way, who is black, Trey, so I don't know, you're going to have to distinguish who's the white guy or who's the black guy, you know, because she's like, yo, when it's a black guy, why it's got to be about intelligence? But AJ's black. He called Vlad. Hey, give me some tips. What the fuck do I do? And no one said anything about that. And no one, you know, questioned that.
This has nothing to do with. Look, my point has nothing to do with George Foreman being capable or not being capable. My point has everything to do with Wilder's already capable of doing what he needs to do. And it may take someone to unlock it, Mario. It could, and that guy could be Foreman. You know, I don't see it, but that's just me, and it's just my opinion. It's you know, it's a Mario fact if that's what y'all want to start calling it, because it's not like real. I get it, but at the same time, I'm not seeing these huge payoffs that a lot of people are seeing. And you know what might be a problem is because I wasn't on this show when that news first broke. So my first taste of it, you know, wasn't even, because I don't even remember y'all really covering much more than that morning show. You know, it wasn't talked about any of the flagship shows. My first taste of this was Twitter, and them, you know, taking this, it just seemed like such a gimmick type of thing. It seemed like a lot of people latched onto it that way. So it's not fair to come on this airways and you know, say that and attach everybody to it. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to say that there is this narrative that's been put out there. There is this idea that it's out there. And guess what? The more this thing happens, if it does go through, the more we're going to hear about those stupid things, because casuals are going to latch onto it, and the casual media is going to latch onto it, and they're going to continue this storyline throughout. And so I just, again, I don't know if I know it's not necessary for him to win. I'll put it that way. And that's all I'll say about it.
I mean, but that's you trying to be like fake optimistic and fake showing fake Wilder love. Like, oh, he doesn't need anyone.
No, I'm not.
He doesn't
beat him.
He doesn't need anyone. He already has what it takes. Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
Listen. If that sounded corny, then I'm sorry. I didn't mean it to sound corny, because the truth is Fury is going to win, and there's nothing Wilder can do. That's just my opinion. Again, I'm not saying he doesn't have a chance. He absolutely has a chance, but it's the same chance he's had from the very beginning. So, you know, I don't know. I don't
exactly why you bring in Foreman.
Okay,
because you're
basically
saying he's going into both fights with one bullet in the chamber, the right hand. So now someone else has to unlock something else. It is what it is. Listen, we got to everybody.
A hand grenade, but you know.
I mean, hand grenade, landmine, whatever. Listen, that is everyone. Want to thank everyone that tuned in. Thank you guys for continuing to support the show. Don't forget, we'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. This is a 7-day-a-week show. We're here every day, Monday through Sunday. So check us out, 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Nest GTO, Instagram, and Twitter. Peace.
At Mario Munguia on Twitter, at Mario Munguia on Instagram. Anything I say, come and talk with me. We can, chop it up. Peace.